Oh yeah, what's up? We are live. It is a Monday night, and it is 7:04 p.m. here in Central Time. All these dudes with me are in Central Time, and we're gonna get to some astronomical views, and we're gonna introduce the panel that's here with us tonight. We're gonna have some good time doing some astronomy virtually because it's still 2020. I know it feels like 2024 by now, but it is unfortunately still 2020. And but we're in November, so that's a good thing, right? And I've got a panel of awesome dudes here with me, good friends, and a cat which has just showed up. Which cat is that, Bram?
This is Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle. I love it. That's a perfect name for that particular animal. That's awesome. Bram has like 9 cats, Bram, or is it?
There's 4 that I know of. There's so much fur around here. I'm starting to suspect there might be more.
There's a couple more that have kind of snuck in the mix there. But yeah, so let's get to some intros. We'll get to some views, and we're gonna put y'all's comments up all night long. So while y'all are hanging out with us, again, thank y'all for joining us. Welcome to Coffee and Astronomy, and I have my cup of extremely hot coffee. I mean, I can't even hold it. The handle is actually too hot, so this NASA mug is not very well insulated. And but I think Joe's the only one without coffee because he doesn't like coffee.
I just got back from the gym, so
the best. Everyone knows the most refreshing thing after a hot workout is a steaming hot cup of
steaming
coffee.
Of Joe. Right there, you go.
A steaming cup of Joe, which brings us to Mr. Joe.
Hey,
Mr. Joe Califf. There he is.
How's it going, everyone?
The jiu-jitsu expert himself. Joe, you're at the Astro Joe. Tell us about that, man.
Yeah, so not to be left behind by you, Will, right? Wanted to do a lot of the great things that you're doing, and had to create some social media accounts in order to get some of that goodness out there.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you're doing it, and you got a cool name. It rolls off the tongue, so it's a great start, man. I think you're almost at 100 followers on Instagram now, right?
On Instagram, yeah. So I've got to get more photos out there. Been a little busy with life and trying to get a new telescope set up and all of that good stuff. But as soon as that gets all worked out, and then we'll start posting more photos. So looking forward.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that telescope, man. A 25-inch.
Yes.
You're officially in the half-meter club, sir. Welcome.
Officially in the half-meter club. Yes, thank you. I'm supposed to get a key to the restroom, right?
Yes, that's in the mail. That was mailed out last week. It should have been there by now, so there might be an issue.
Because I've been holding it since.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we'll make sure that gets to you pretty soon. And then I'll go up here to Mr. Bram Wiseman next. He's at the Immature Astronomer, which is a fitting name, I think. Bram, looking good, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Oh, I had a nice week out in Big Bend. Had one night under the stars with some friends, my sister and a friend. And the friend she had never seen anything in the sky before, really. I mean, and she was just blown away. We got to see the Milky Way under Bortle 1 skies, and saw a few galaxies and globulars. She loved the globulars. Couple of nebula, planetary nebula, and diffuse nebula.
And what were y'all using?
The 20.
Oh, the Stargate. Oh, wow. Another half-meter telescope right there. Mm-hmm. So, Bram, thanks for joining us, man. And you're getting some followers on Instagram, too. It's at Immature Astronomer, right?
Yep.
There you go.
Haven't checked the count. Have I hit 5 yet?
I don't know. We'll look. We'll check that out, and hopefully we'll get you 5 more after tonight. I know Joe will probably follow you finally. So
yeah, I will. I promise.
And maybe even Mr. Hummel will follow you. But there he is, Mr. Stephen Hummel himself. How you doing, buddy? You look warm.
I am warm. Yes, even though it's very cold out. Winter has finally arrived out here in West Texas. But located out in McDonald Observatory, far west Texas, the Big Bend region, where Brandon just was recently. But yeah, I'm staying warm. I've got all my gloves and hand warmers and layers upon layers because it's chilly. It's chilly. And sorry about my camera kind of jiggling around. It makes it seem like, I don't know, it's like a found footage. So it's been like discarded out.
Stephen Hummel project, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? No, it's just because my USB port is failing. But
Should we tell him there's a dark figure standing behind him?
The red eyes, right?
With red eyes.
The scary thing is I can't see any of that because this is infrared, so I can't see any of that stuff behind me. It's just been black. So
somebody could wander in and we would be like, Stephen?
Yeah, y'all would know first.
At least with the red eyes, he'd be dark sky friendly, right? So
yes, yeah, because you can't have white light eyes coming in. You'll just
there you go.
I don't care what he does as long as he doesn't have any lights on and whatever.
And so you can
kind of a Blair Witch Project feel to it over there.
It does, yeah.
Well, yeah, Bram. That's why I said the Stephen Hummel Project. So
you got there. It's all right.
Okay, and y'all know Stephen, man. He's always got a massive telescope pointed at something, and here he has the ever famous the Avocado Nebula, as we have started calling it now. My buddy Eddie Trevino said that's not a ring, that's an avocado, and I said, Eddie, you're exactly right. In fact, the top right-hand portion of it is already rotted before I even got it home and peeled it to make my guacamole. So there it is.
Bruised, yeah.
So tell us what we're seeing, Stephen, and I'll get to some viewer comments as we're greeting everybody in. It's good to have everybody here.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. This is the Ring Nebula, or Messier 57. If you have your own telescope, then at some point, if you haven't already looked at this, then you should look at this. It's one of the most well-known objects in the sky. We have a full moon tonight. Actually, not quite full. Yesterday was the full moon. But it's still very bright, which means that we're going to be using an H alpha filter for pretty much everything tonight, which means we're going to be looking at a lot of nebulae, and this is one of the brightest ones out, and I just centered this one up because it was up, and I could get it even when it wasn't dark yet. So that's why I chose this. But yeah, it's a shell of gas expanding off a dying sun-like star. About 2,700 light years away, somewhere in that ballpark. Mm-hmm. So something to look forward to. Mark calendars. About 5 billion or so years, our sun will die and do something similar.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
and you'll want to be 2,700 light years away to see it like this, because otherwise it'll be a dusty mess if you're in the system.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be in it. It's not an explosion, but it's not a pleasant place to be for sure.
Yeah. And our buddy Tony Bendel's tuning in. It looks like he has the vid. Oh no, the ever-present COVID. So I hope you're getting well, Tony. Wear a mask, buddy. I know you will. I know Tony will for sure. Yeah, it's a beautiful. So you said this is H alpha. So this is technically a narrow band image of the Ring Nebula, correct? M57.
That's right.
And so tell us, Stephen, for those of the people that might not be astrophotographers, narrow band, it simply means that we're just taking a small band of the whole visual spectrum and focusing on that, right?
Right. So hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. It's all over the place. And so when hydrogen is ionized, energized by energy from, in this case, a dying star or a big star or whatnot, it fluoresces in the vacuum of space. It will fluoresce. Mm-hmm. And the most common color it emits, the most common energy state it's at, will emit this particular red color, which we call hydrogen alpha. And there's others like hydrogen beta and hydrogen gamma, but alpha is the most common. I'm Bob Snyder. I'm glad you made it out to see our skies here in West Texas.
Good old Bob.
Yeah. Sorry I couldn't meet you. I've been on total lockdown. I did not have COVID, but I did have the flu. And that knocked me out for about a week and a half, and then I had to quarantine on top of that. And now everything's closed down out here. The observatory is closed to the public because this is a true COVID hotspot. We are, frankly, in a crisis in West Texas at the moment. Maybe about 5 or 10% of the population of Brewster County to the south is actively has COVID right now. So, I've been on lockdown, but glad y'all could make it out to see us.
Yeah, and we're glad you're on lockdown because at least you're staying safe, Stephen. And also, you got really bored, so you hit me up and said, "Hey, you want to live stream?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yes, I have been bored.
Haven't we all though?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Joe just got 100 on Instagram. Joe, congratulations.
Thank
man.
you. Thank you. Appreciate it, Bob. I'll always remember you as my 100th follower. So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, Bob's always at the star parties with us.
Oh, yeah,
anyways,
absolutely.
so we'll be seeing him out there for sure. And Celsa had a question. I'll let Hummel field this one. How does the cold affect the telescope?
It depends. So temperatures don't necessarily affect the telescope per se, but the change in temperature will. So we like this dome is air conditioned to be kind of cool during the day. And in our research telescopes, we look ahead at the weather forecast and we say, what's the temperature going to be tonight at sunset? And we air condition the temperature during the day to be what it is at sunset. So as long as everything is in equilibrium, the air temperature in here is the same as it is out there, then there isn't too much of a problem. So long as there's not, like frost or anything. But if it's much warmer in here than it is out there, you'll get that kind of heat shimmer effect really bad. And materials expand and contract as temperatures change, which can also affect things. Although this telescope is built to compensate for that. So in short, it doesn't really affect it all that much. It affects the operators a lot more. So it may suffer just because I'm suffering.
Yeah, and you can see that when we pan over here to Stephen, he is in a heavy jacket. That's not actually a headset, that's earmuffs.
Dual purpose, yeah.
Dual purpose headset and earmuffs too, because you got to have both in the cold for sure.
And that's a straw for hot chocolate, right?
Say it again, Bram. Sorry.
That's a straw for hot chocolate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I should put hot chocolate things on it, like
the old beer helmet.
The old beer helmet with hot chocolate. That would be the most nerdy thing ever, and it would be perfect for this channel, especially if it was coffee up there. That'd be even weirder.
Right.
Somehow that would be weirder. Mike Bartholomew says, "Hello, question: how often do you guys do your show? Is it the same time aired?" No, we wish. We wish the weather was that predictable and our schedules were that predictable, but it's not a steady thing at any rate. It's just when we all decide to get together and have a good time and hang out with you guys and gals on the internet. What's up, David Farina? How you doing, man? Just crossed 1,000 subscribers on his YouTube. Check him out, Cosmos Safari. Good guy there, David is. What's up, Steve Olson? How you doing? Reza, good to see you. This is a live and stacked image, is it not?
Yep.
Stephen?
That's right. And I'm live taking another picture of the next object here, the Veil Nebula. But I'm stacking 30-second exposures live. Is how I'm doing it now. Because the moon is up and such, we have to use this filter, which doesn't let that much light through. So we're going to have to stack a few to kind of get really good results and get that noise down. But that's a lie. I just took that just now. It's live, and the fact that this is a 30-second exposure.
Beautiful. And look at the detail already.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Not even fair. That's cheating. I don't know how you cheated. But...
With an almost full moon out, and to get something like this, it's just it's not fair.
And it would be hilarious if we panned over and Stephen was actually using one of those EV scopes just over in the corner.
Yeah, or just sliding a picture in front of the camera.
Yeah. Stephen is the main endorser for the EV scope. Check out these images that he gets here. we won't get started on that. No. It's good to have all y'all with us, though. Again, thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for sharing the streams. We're going to take a tour tonight, and Stephen Hummel is going to be our guide. So if there is a nebulous object y'all want to see, because we are, again, tonight looking in...
nebulous program.
Yeah.
I don't have it all planned out. I'm winging it.
It's fluid. It's motion, baby. But we're gonna try to stick to nebulas tonight. Obviously, we're looking in H alpha. That's kind of the theme tonight. So if there's a nebula that you think is up or whatever, throw it down in the comments. We'll see if it's logistically possible or not to do it. And again, Stephen's telescope is out in the deep, dark deserts of West Texas, where the skies are as black as my coffee here, and a lot colder tonight, apparently, because if they were this hot, Stephen might be dressed down a little bit. But we've got the Veil Nebula, which is a supernova remnant, part of it. We're looking at maybe 1/16 or 1/32 of the nebula here?
Yeah, I think it would take about 30 fields of view to get the whole thing, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, this is for reference. If I aim this telescope at the moon, I would get about 2/3 of the moon. So when this telescope can't see the whole moon at once, it's 20 arc minutes across.
Wow.
Lengthwise.
But still, 2/3 is actually a pretty good amount of the moon, right? It's all right.
Yeah. I have a reducer and such to get some more in there.
Well, almost a finger width at held at arm's length.
Yeah,
yes.
almost.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's about
maybe
half a
your
degree
pinky or so.
or pinky. Yeah, that's a good approximation.
The fingernail on your pinky at arm's length.
There you go.
That would probably be about it.
Now, is this the eastern veil area, Stephen?
This is which one did I put? I just said go to the veil. I think this is the west part of the western part.
Oh, it is part of the western? Okay.
Or maybe it's the eastern. I'm not sure.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
We'll
I
find
see
out.
someone talking about Triangulum Galaxy, David. Oh, we're gonna get there.
Oh yeah, Triangulum Galaxy is definitely coming up.
See Solstice at Crab. It's pretty low, but if I can stay warm enough long enough, maybe.
Oh, and so that's in Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
Not the automobile, but the constellation.
Yeah, I'm gonna work the western part of the sky, the stuff that's gonna set soon first, and then I'll go over to the eastern part of the sky.
Can I suggest Pickering's pizza, space pizza? Can
Pickering's
you get any of that?
pizza. Ooh, got it.
Yeah. The space pizza is, so that's a nickname that I heard a while back, and I thought it was hilarious, and so I figure we should propagate that through. Sarah Silva is joining us there. She just put a hand, so I assume that means high five. High five. I'm glad that I went to all of us just for that. That was great.
Hey, Sarah.
Yeah, good to see you, Sarah. Spencer Pratt. I hope your hand is doing well, Spencer. Spencer actually broke his arm or broke his hand at El Dorado Star Party. So he's the first person that I've known that has gotten a major injury at a star party. So hopefully Spencer's doing well. I want to get Spencer on for the Astronomical Society meeting, Spencer. So get with me for our December club meeting. I want to get you on so we can tell your tale of tragedy and then ultimately triumph. Once you get better.
It's not how an ordinary astronomer would tell you.
Yeah. It's going to give him like super wrist strength because the bone will fuse back stronger and he'll be like, rah.
So you can build in a fine focuser into his arm too, right? We can rebuild him.
It'll be a collimator as well. He'll be able to collimate a mirror with a single punch.
I don't want super strength. I just want the ability to fine tune a telescope.
This is Doug. This is welcome, Doug. And this is we're looking at a supernova remnant of like probably one of the more famous supernova remnants, at least with our band of brothers that goes out and observes. Everybody always looks at the veil. For one thing, it's in Cygnus, so it's easy to get to, and it's massive. Like Stephen said, this thing is so big you can only get parts of the parts in the frame here with this particular focal length. But that's the beauty of this particular telescope he's using. This is a 16 RCOS.
Yep.
Okay, so it's
16
inch, and just imagine the Hubble Space Telescope if it was scaled down to 16 inches, and that's basically what we're using here. But again, we're in the narrow band, so we're narrow band live imaging of the space pizza right now, which again is it's formerly called Pickering's Triangle, which I don't know who Pickering was, but he sounds like a cool dude. But space pizza sounds cooler, especially if you got some kid or something, some weird adult that's like, "What are you looking at? Oh, space pizza. What? I want to see the space pizza."
We see we have a quest for the. Sorry for ruining your life by having you experience true dark skies.
My bad.
And what's funny is, Scott, you could move out there to west of Fort Davis, and then with your name, people would think you own the place.
I was gonna say.
I'm Mr. Scott McDonald. This is actually my observatory. So hello.
It's funny. The nephew of the William Johnson McDonald, who the observatory is named after, actually came up. He was on a tour I gave once, and he was like, "Oh, that's named after me or my grandpa." I'm like, "What?" No, it's not. Yeah, he was right. It was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
It does actually.
I'm gonna say, is M27 too low for you, or
No, it is not.
Ooh.
It's on. I'll go there. I'm gonna do another point on the veil, and I'll go there. I saw a request for the Ghost of Jupiter. I think
Ooh, we can't do that yet.
and Jupiter. That's unfortunately not up at the moment. But
I'm missing that comment. Where am I? Am I that far behind? No, I'm not that far behind.
it was I am rainstorm. Hi,
Amber
Rain.
in Faith May says, "Hello from the tundra, aka Minnesota." Hummel thinks it's the tundra out there. It's like in the 30s.
Yeah, I've had it a lot worse.
He
Yeah.
was complaining earlier. He's like, "I'm so cold in the dome. It's so cold."
I'm not cold. I'm warm.
He's
I
got
would be
more warm
cold.
gear on than any of us. He's ready for a night in the mountains skiing, I guess. There's no snow in Fort Davis. But it might be a little
Not
painful.
right now, anyway.
So we're going to go to the Triangulum Galaxy later. Good request, David. I think that's going to be a great one. And Celsus said Crab Nebula, which we had up. We might go to that one if we have the time. And then there's the Ghost of Jupiter one. Okay, yeah. So that's one of my favorite planetary nebulas. And it's in, is it Eridanus or?
It's over there. Yeah.
Hydra.
It's in Hydra. It's Hydra.
All right. I was in one of the long ones. I always get them all mixed up.
So yeah,
Draco,
unfortunately,
Hydra.
it's not going to be up yet. I think we'd have to stay up kind of late to get that one, but maybe. I don't think I'm going to have that in me tonight.
Yeah, the cold is slowly withering away at Stephen, because the roof of the building that he is in right there is not. It's not like it's exactly closed. It's wide open.
Right.
At least the door behind you. So who is that with you in the
There's
room?
no
there?
one there. Don't. I can see this view as well.
he's like, my computer is also a mirror. So
Yeah.
the Eagle Nebula, Rayleigh, is not up. I know I just said your name wrong, and I'm so sorry because she's gonna be so mad at me because I do it every time. I apologize. But no, the Eagle Nebula M16 is not up. But if we do one of these in like April, May, June, it will be of next year. So I can't wait to see the Eagle Nebula again as well. Let's see. Mike says, "Thanks. I think I need this. Still dilly-dallying around with on which telescope to purchase. That's always a dilemma of sorts. I need a friend. I'm not that lonely. Well, hey, a telescope can keep you company out there. Again, that the warmth of that telescope is keeping Stephen alive right now.
it's the heat coming off of the camera, right?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's the photonic energy bouncing off the mirrors. There's a lot of stuff working in there. And Sarah is special. Sarah's an awesome mask maker. She's making amazing space masks right now, but I think she may be running low on inventory. So if you're trying to get one from her, you might be too late, or you might want to get your order in. I don't know, Sarah, if you want to kind of mention that, but she does have those available as well. Ooh, I think we're on the Western Veil now, huh?
Yeah, 52 sig there.
52 sig. What a beautiful.
So, for those who aren't familiar, you can see the star naked eye. It's pretty bright, which is why it's got the diffraction spikes and reflection off the filter. But it's kind of used as a signpost to find this section of the Veil Nebula because it's so big and it's hard to know where to look. So that's what usually I go to first. But
yeah, and look at the nebulosity on the left side of the star. You always see the stuff on the right side, but that little wisp there is pretty.
Yeah.
Not sure I've ever picked that one up.
Yeah, it's pretty faint. Yeah. Yeah, the eastern part I think looks better, but this side gets photographed more for some reason.
Yeah, I guess because it's a little tighter. Maybe it looks like more like the witch's broom and that sort of thing. Because this whole area does look like a witch's broom, or like what you would see in Harry Potter. Like I forget what the name of that broom is, but
a broom. I don't know.
The Nimbus 5000 or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Dark Nebula. If you have an NGC or an IC or something for me, maybe. We got H alpha only, but
there is some stuff over in
stuff,
Cassiopeia. Yeah. But remember about the IC, designation. If it says IC, you probably won't.
Mm-hmm.
So
well,
with a camera, yeah.
Yeah.
with an eyepiece, it's like, no. If it's an IC, obviously that's not true for most or a lot of things, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Pac-Man Nebula over there in Cassiopeia. That's not a dark nebula, but it is one. Cat's Eye is not up, I don't think, or is it? That's in
it's up.
Capricornus.
No, it's north. It's in what is it, towards Cepheus? So it's north.
Oh yes, okay. See, I always get that and Saturn mixed up.
Technically circumpolar, so I think we could do it. It's maybe a little low, but I'll try it. Okay, so Tim said LDN 1306. Oh, I don't know that one. What's 884?
Let's see what that is. Tim's bringing out the good stuff. 1306,
right.
the Dark Nebula, the LDN.
LDN's
right. Oh wow, so that's a huge area. I doubt we'd be able to hit that one.
Yeah, the field of view is fine. Oh yeah, the double cluster. We can do some open clusters as well. Someone start writing these down.
Yeah, I'm looking at them to see which ones are viable here.
Spencer asks if the scope is collimated. It's collimated. You get that effect if the star isn't in the center. You get the reflection off the primary and the filter won't be centered. So if you put the star in the center, the reflection will be centered. If it wasn't collimated, then all the stars would look crazy, because this is a Ritchie-Chrétien telescope where if the collimation isn't perfect, the whole image would be trash. So you can't judge the collimation off of the reflection like that, because reflections get real weird. But yeah, it's good. Let's go M27 right now.
Oh yeah, M27 is always a fan favorite. It's called the Dumbbell Nebula, but I think most of the guys on this panel here, we don't see a dumbbell. I don't know. I see like a spinning bow, like it's got motion blur on it, like it's a staff.
I see an apple core.
An apple core, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I see. Or an hourglass.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a dumbbell, and maybe from the side. I don't know, but it just doesn't. I always like, looked at it and I was like, okay, this is a dumbbell. But another name for it is the Apple Core Nebula, which is actually, I think, probably like just said, more appropriate, and I think it's actually kind of starting to stick too. So
yeah. Well, the nice thing is, it's one of those objects that even from the light polluted skies of Houston, if the moon's down, we can see it. So at outreach events and whatnot, we'll show it, and to the kids, we always call it the Apple Core Nebula, and that just seems to stick. So
yeah. It's much better than the dumbbell, which is funny. Yeah. You can kind of throw that name around,
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to use that language on school property anymore, right?
This is the Dumbbell Nebula, kids. Oh no, you can't call it that. We don't want to talk about the Inuit Nebula then, or the Kinney Nebula, as we have come to call it on this show. Can't even say that nebula's name anymore, but this is it. See that central bar that sort of runs through it. That's kind of the central structure that kind of I see. But then sort of the apple core is sort of, you can see the lit up area. You can see where the bites have been taken right there on the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, you typically don't see some of that fainter material in a regular telescope under, suburban or even slightly darker skies, depending on the telescope that you have.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Chuck's Astrophotography. Good to see you, Chuck.
Hello.
Chuck is blowing up on TikTok, y'all. Man, Chuck has more followers than Michael Jackson on TikTok. Well, I guess everybody does. That's probably a bad example. But yeah, go follow Chuck's Astrophotography on TikTok. He's doing some awesome stuff and killing it, man. Congratulations, Chuck. As if Chuck needed any more fame. But yeah, he's got it on TikTok. He's doing a really good job. TikTok's dead for me, fellas. I don't know about y'all, but I post stuff there that used to get thousands of views, and now I'm getting, a couple hundred. It seems like it's just, it's odd. It's very odd.
Huh. The algorithm said you had enough.
Yeah. It was right after they sold it too. I feel like they sold it and then they were like, forget about Deep Sky Dude. We're going to do something else.
We've got our own guy that we're going to promote.
Yeah. He does. We got Chuck's Astrophotography. We don't need no Deep Sky Dude over here. But no, Chuck's doing some amazing stuff. He's got some awesome solar videos he's been putting up there, and he does a great job of kind of overdubbing them with the voiceovers. And so he's like, hey, I had my telescope out and I took a shot of this big spot on the sun. And, he kind of goes through and explains it. And you can just read the comments and people are like, whoa, mind blown. Why is this happening? And, none of us know the answer. We just, we know what it is, right? Like, why is the Apple Core Nebula?
Why?
Why is it? Yeah. Why is M27?
Why is life?
Why is the world?
It's another planetary nebula for anyone wondering. Legitimately, it's just like the Ring Nebula. It's a dying star that was once like the sun, and is now blown off its outer layers, and the heat and energy of that little dying star is heating up the gas around it, making it glow. Fluoresce. So
yeah. Now, do we know if this one, Stephen, is a binary system, or is it a single solitary star at the core?
I don't recall. It's a good bet with these bipolar nebulae, as they're called, because they have kind of two lobes, that they are a binary system. But I don't remember if it is. I do remember that it is one of the most massive white dwarves now.
Oh.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's not one of the most massive. It's the biggest in terms of diameter. So it's a giant among dwarfs.
Oh wow, interesting.
It's like being the tallest kid or the fattest kid and the skinniest kid in fat camp or whatever they say. Right? Yeah.
Look at me go.
We're not actually seeing the star responsible because the filter is basically cutting out the light, but it would be right in the center.
Yeah,
you can almost kind of there's a little like a lump in there, a fuzzy that right there. Yeah,
right there. Yeah. Do you see
am
that?
I imagining that, Stephen?
No,
or is that
there's something there? Yeah,
Okay.
it's usually a lot brighter in conventional images.
Now this one appears much larger than M57, but I think it's also about half the distance,
right?
Than M57 is, right?
That's right.
Yeah, like something like 1,500 light years or something. But it is, I think, just physically larger anyway.
Right.
The setup right now, it's a 16-inch RC optical systems. The camera is a ZWO ASI 1600 mm Pro, and I'm using an ONAG guider, and it's a Paramount ME. It's the mount. It's
that massive, crazy weapon-looking thing behind him.
Yeah.
Space cannon in reverse.
I don't know if you tilt it up here and you see the dome.
There you go. Oh, you can actually see a star out there.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, that's a hot pixel. Sorry.
Oh.
I thought it was dust on my screen. I was like, oh wow, look at that.
Yep. And so that optical train right behind Stephen there is responsible for that image live right now. Those photons that you're looking at just hit his sensor a few moments ago, traveling all the way across the universe. Well, not really, but across the galaxy anyway. How far is the Apple Core? Did we ever figure that out?
Like 1,500 or something light years?
Let's consult the book of armaments here.
About 1,227 light years.
1227.
Very specific.
Well, that one says 1227, but then I see another one 1360. So yeah, once you get past about 30 or 40 light years, it's hard to get it down exactly.
Yeah. I got 1,400, so we're at a consensus of just over 1,000 somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start going to the next object, which I'm going to leave us a surprise.
Ooh, a surprise.
Ding,
ding. Ding, ding.
Ding,
Yeah,
ding.
of course. If y'all don't know what ding, ding means, we can't explain it to you. Sake says, just joining. What are we looking at? We were looking at the Apple Core Nebula. I'm not gonna call it the dumbbell anymore, and I'm gonna shake my fingers at you for some reason while I do that. Let's put Hummel on there because that's cool to watch the telescope. It's already done. Like, can you do all that over again?
The dome's still going.
Yeah. The dome is so slow and antiquated, but that mount is just so new and nice. Look at that.
Not like I think 12 years old or something like that. So
we are inside the dome right here. But that is not a firmament above, Stephen. That is just some aluminum. I don't want to start anything, so I'm gonna shut up now. Oh, but yeah. So that was M27 or Messier 27. The Messier list is if you have a small telescope, 8 or 10-inch, even 6 or 4-inch telescope, you can really hit most of the Messiers. It's definitely a list that I think everybody on this panel would suggest that you start with. And yeah, like Aaron said, in some telescopes, this stuff looks like a peanut, but in other setups, like Stephen's here, there's way more detail, and that just has to do with focal length. It has to do with the eyepiece you may be using. And then, of course, if you want more zoom, you can usually go for it in a smaller telescope. But if the night isn't that good, then more magnification just means you're going to magnify the bad parts of the sky. The image doesn't really get any better. But on those really clear nights, I mean, you can get up to 600 power if you have a big enough scope or a nice enough night and see stuff just fine. It just depends. Oh,
Yeah. You know what that is?
That's the Michael Bublé Nebula.
Yes, indeed. The Bubble Nebula. Yeah, the bubble. And you can see why. Here's zooming out a bit.
Yeah, I was about to say, why do they call it the bubble? I'm really confused here.
I see more of an apple core.
Yeah, I see definitely more of a dumbbell here.
It's kind of a grape, but you know.
You're right.
It's the Memberries. We remember.
It was named after it wouldn't bubble.
They're the frog eggs that Baby Yoda was eating.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Yeah, there we
yeah.
go. Hey, Dusty Haskins, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Howdy.
Thoughts on the Arecibo demolition? Man, that's tragic, isn't it? 2020 needs to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was asked to be on, I think it's the People's News on one of the local news stations, radio here, and they aired it, I think, Friday to talk about that specifically at 90.1 KPFT. So, yeah, it's tough. And like you said, Will, 2020 kind of rears its ugly head again.
It's tragic. Honestly, it's a huge loss for the astronomical community.
It is,
especially with the loss of radar capabilities to detect near-Earth asteroids. That's particularly concerning.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else in the world that had anywhere near its capability in that regard.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. It is a big loss. China does have the FAST telescope, so that can do some stuff. But it was kind of nice having one in that particular part of the world.
Right.
They were kind of opposite of each other for that reason. You can do, basically round the clock, like Stephen said, radar of you bounce a radar wave off of a rock in space. The radar wave comes back and you can tell the shape of that rock in space and how fast it's tumbling, its speed, all kinds of crazy stuff. It's a tragic day. And as soon as that happened, like most of y'all, I think, on this panel, I immediately thought of Contact, the movie, and how that, it's kind of like a movie in Manhattan before September 11th. You could see everything was there, and then it's amazing how dramatically the landscape can change so quickly. And hopefully some multi-gazillionaire like Elon Musk will come in and save the day or something, build a new one. I don't know. How much do y'all think it would cost to build a new one? A few million? Couple million?
Hundred. Yeah, I mean, and the hard part, the tragic thing is they were already struggling to get funding.
Oh, they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to kind of shift away from the NSF to a consortium by University of Central Florida. And I didn't realize it until I did some of the research on it, but that telescope contributed greatly to the discovery of the first exoplanets, and I had no idea. So
yeah. It still is wild to me that they found that first exoplanet the way they did.
Right?
Right.
Exactly. Around a quasar, right?
Pulsar.
Or pulsar. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Transtar.
Quasar.
Yeah.
Pulsar. Yeah.
Not the place you would expect to find a planet.
Right. Exactly.
No, not at all.
Yeah, the dumbbell image was cropped a little bit. Yeah.
So let's talk about this one here, the Bubble Nebula. This is actually an M52. Is this M52?
That's next. That's an open cluster that is
next door
near it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what are we seeing, Stephen? Why is there a Michael Bublé in the middle of this nebula?
So there is a large, massive star here, and that star is, I think it's either an O or a B class star. If you don't know what that means, it means it's big and it's hot. And the more massive the star, the hotter it is, the higher the rate of fusion, the more energy it puts out. And this wispy stuff, this gas, in this case hydrogen, and as well as other things, from which the star was probably formed. So it's kind of a star-forming region, at least recently. And when that massive star formed, its stellar winds, all the energy is putting out, swept out this bubble, kind of pushing it away. But that's maybe strange because the star responsible is not in the center of the bubble. But that's because it's far more dense. The cloud is much more dense over here than it is over here. So it has a much easier time pushing the gas here, whereas there's more resistance here. Whereas this is a clump of gas that's even closer, kind of poking towards it. And you can see it's very bright there because it's even more energized. So it is indeed a bubble. And I don't recall the diameter. I know it's over a light year across.
So 3 to 5 light years.
Yeah, I'm seeing 10 light years across. I guess it depends on where you're measuring from.
Yeah, maybe that's the diameter and 3 to 5 is the radius. I'm not
It
sure.
almost reminds me of a messed up yin yang, where one side of the yin yang is smaller than the other. But that's, I guess, after multiple exposures. But that's an interesting explanation, Stephen. I didn't know. I always thought it was because those stars had a proper motion that the nebula couldn't keep up with. But it makes more sense that there's sort of a density issue with the gas and dust in that area.
And that's another factor is it probably is in motion as well. But I think the density part it's a little bit of both. But.
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes you do see these bubbles in space or in these stellar nurseries or whatever when a star turns on and it starts carving out the area around it. And I guess over time, these stars are kind of gravitationally interacting with each other. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on out there in space, but the reason we see M42, the Orion Nebula, the way we kind of do, those are O-class stars too, I believe, right, Stephen, in the trapeze?
Oh yeah, some O and B's in there for sure.
So there's 4 stars that are just like hanging out together. There's a bunch more in between them, but those 4 stars are just carving out this gas and dust in this area, and that's why we see the Orion Nebula the way we do, with these 4 beautiful stars in the center, sort of.
Yeah, it is similar to the Orion Nebula in a lot. It's like a very small version of that. Where the Orion Nebula, which if you haven't seen it, Google that. But it's kind of a semicircular, like a cave that has been blown open from the stellar winds, and it's a similar story here.
They do sell microwavable burgers there, Sol. Just to let you know, you have to heat them up yourself.
No.
Steven's like, no, we don't want people coming up here getting the wrong idea.
Yeah.
What zoom is this, Stephen? Oh, sorry, Bram. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've seen a dog face where the bubble's his nose, and there's a couple of stars that make his eyes almost like 3/4 of a diameter away from the bubble.
Ooh.
Anybody with me on that?
I'm not real quite.
All I see is the Starlink satellite on the right. That's all I can see right now. Speaking of, we're gonna go ahead and blame Travis for that.
Thanks, Travis. Appreciate
Travis
it.
said he just talked to Elon, and he said no because he won't fund Arecibo because we make fun of him. So, well, you tell Travis, you tell Elon to stop tweeting. I'm just kidding.
Tell him that
we're having fun.
Probably wouldn't build it anyway because Starlink would ruin radio astronomy.
Exactly. It's like, probably Elon went down there and cut the cable himself with some shears.
So we can blame Arecibo on Travis too, right?
Yeah, blame. Yes,
blame Travis.
Yes.
Why'd you do that to
blame
us?
Travis.
Why'd you have to do it, Travis? I mean, that's just the way it goes.
On the comment about the zoom is, so we don't really talk about zoom when we're talking about a digital camera. We talk about the field of view, which is about 20 arc minutes across, or about 2/3 the moon. So it's small, but when we're talking about a digital camera, we don't really use the term zoom because it doesn't quite work that way. It's just different. It's just different.
Can we talk about power, magnification?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to. You can sort of make that analogy, but it's. I think those terms when we're talking about a camera get more confusing than helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So usually we talk about the focal length, and that which would be about 3.6 meters here. and the size of the sensor determines your field of view. So again, 2/3 of the full moon, 20 arc minutes.
Yeah, and the focal length is 3,000 millimeters.
3,600.
3.6 meters.
Yeah, but I
like
put a
said,
reducer
Stephen,
on it. So
that's about the width of your pinky nail at arm's length, right?
right. Yeah,
Something
that's about
that. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. All right, what's next? What's next?
What is next? Do we have any requests from the crowd? I thought you know what, there was one that I thought might be interesting, Stephen.
Is what on the eastern half of the sky? I'm sorry, the western half.
So, let me throw this.
Theseus.
7662. I think
Okay.
Bob had 70, I think that's the it's in Cassiopeia, so that's over on the east side.
Yeah. Someone had the cat's eye. I'm not sure how high that still is right now. Let me look it up.
The cat's eye is out there. A lot of planetary nebulas. We tend to focus on planetary nebulas on this program because I think a lot of these guys, me especially, but I think a lot of us love a good planetary nebula.
Yeah. All right, going to the cat's eye. It is up. It just barely.
Just barely visible.
Yep, right above the wall, but it's possible. And it's worth it. It's a good one. So.
And I typed in cat's eye inside this. Okay, now I had to put the apostrophe. Thanks, Sky Safari Pro. I had to put the apostrophe.
I was just about to say I'm using Sky Safari Pro as well, and wouldn't find it without the apostrophe.
And you had to put the apostrophe?
Yes.
You know what's really messed up, and I need to talk to simulation curriculum about this. I'd love for them to fix this. If you enter a string, which is what they call in the search menu a string, if you type in NGC whatever,
right,
and you put a space behind whatever, like if you copied it from somewhere and you pasted it, if there's a space behind it, it won't find it.
Really?
So you have to remove that space. Yeah.
Wow.
And I found that out because these names, these nicknames for these objects, sometimes you can search, stuff like that. And look at that.
As a guy who works for a software company, we've kind of figured that stuff out. So
well, let's get on simulation curriculum. I know they'll fix it. They love getting. They're a great company and they love getting feedback.
Absolutely.
From people because Sky Safari Pro, I love it, man.
I love it too. I've been using it for years, and I just got an update tonight as we were getting started. The 8.1.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So it's fantastic. I absolutely love it, especially if you're a Mac user.
Yeah.
Not endorsing it, but it's something that I've used for years, and it's indispensable for me.
Yeah, none of us are making any money tonight except for Bram, and he's just making it off his good looks. So he's living on the fame that he looks like Robert Downey Jr. for years.
He's collecting those royalty checks from all the Avengers movies, right?
He is Iron Man.
He is Iron Bram.
Iron Bram. Oh man, that should have been your. We got to change your
another Instagram handle. Huh?
I am Iron Bram.
All right, so that blob is the cat's eye. It's hard to. I think the seeing down low is not great right now.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it was that or the narrow band.
Yeah,
and the narrow band isn't helping either because it doesn't have that much definition in H alpha. It does actually, but it's really really faint. So let me do some tricks here. Increase the exposure by a lot.
And while you're doing that, Travis had an interesting question because a lot of this does have to do with perspective. These objects in space are 100% perspective, especially with galaxies and things like this. But he asks, this looks like a bubble here, but if we were in a different part of the Milky Way on a different star looking at the same object from a different perspective, would we see a bubble? I'm going to go with my knee-jerk reaction and say yes. But it might be a different shape. It might have different characteristics. I'll turn it over to these fine gentlemen.
Yeah, probably would be a bubble. It is physically a bubble, so it probably would resemble one. It would probably look different, but still bubbly.
Yeah, there are some, especially when you see like the Homunculus Nebula, which to me looks like two lobes. It looks like two blooming onions back to back, right? But depending on your perspective in space, that could look circular, right? Depending on how you're looking at it. So but that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, the homunculus, just it's fun to say. If you're bored, just keep saying homunculus.
The homunculus.
And you can't say homunculus and have a frown on your face.
Homunculus.
But again,
I'd never heard that word before that nebula, so I don't even know if that's a real word or if they just made it up on the spot to describe that particular nebula. But it feels like it'd be a great insult or something. You're very homunculi or something.
I don't know why they named it that, because a homunculus is look, it says here, a very small human or humanoid creature. I don't see it. It looks like two blooming onions back to back.
Maybe in a telescope with less photonic awesomeness, I don't know.
Maybe.
So you can see that's the cat's eye there. And there is a little bit of stuff outside of it. It's incredibly faint, but you can start to see a bit of it there.
Is that neighborhood nebula, Stephen, or is that? It shouldn't be a galaxy.
No, it's part of the cat's eye. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I have a picture taken with the 107-inch.
Mm-hmm. Which is cheating.
It is cheating. It is cheating. Yes. But it is really cool. It shows this. I don't know if I have it.
We can't get the great attractor, unfortunately. Fish and dips. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one day. You know what? You could probably get that with the EV scope. So work on that.
So the great attractor isn't like a physical, like one single object. It's just a point in space where there's many, many galaxies and dark matter. It's a general area that we're being drawn to. So it's not one particular kind of thing. The
great attractor is also one of Bram's many nicknames.
That's right.
Philip Espadal.
Swipe right.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I meant that.
Yeah.
Somebody's comment came in. Sorry.
I meant to do that earlier.
Oh, yeah. The Crescent.
Crescent is a great one.
The Crescent Nebula. Croissant. It'd be the Crescent Nebula in a Richie croissant. Facebook user says, "Hey guys, it's Bram's hair that does it." I agree. Bram has these luscious locks.
So not too far from there. Were we looking at LDN?
It's getting weird now.
Yeah.
That's I don't know what that is, Joe. It looks. I mean, I can't see it in Sky Safari Pro. I can just see the nebula itself.
It's part. It's got the same
designation. Yeah.
It's part of the cat's eye. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know if you can. Will, if you go to my Instagram and go back and find the shot of the
I can
of the cat's eye with the 107-inch. I don't have the file on my computer at the moment, and I don't want to make a new screen share. But if you could do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna push some buttons here. Let me also push these buttons so you're not just staring at the blank screen of death for those of y'all that are joining. Thank y'all for all hanging out with us again. Share the stream if y'all dig it. We do these every once in a while sporadically. We would love for y'all to hang out with us and join us. You can follow us and get these on Stardom, which is where we're at. Ron isn't here with us, but we're broadcasting for him. I know he's out there somewhere. And we're on Deep Sky Dude as well. But be sure you follow all the guys here on the panel, which and their Instagrams are down below them. All you have to do is put an @ in front of Bram's there and put it as one word, the immature astronomer. That's @ immature astronomer. How could you forget that, though? That's hilarious. So follow Bram, follow Joe @ the Astro Joe. Just crossed 100 followers on the Instagrams, which is amazing. And Hummel, I call him Hummel because I know a lot of Stevens, and plus it sounds like Hubble. It sounds cool. Makes him sound like he knows what he's doing, right? But no, you can follow Steven at Hummel_Steven, and you can see all his stuff, which I'm about to bring up a view of that, Steven, if I can find it.
You should have grabbed the Hummel constant.
Ooh,
the Hummel constant.
The Hummel constant.
Dang, you should go do that right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
And which one am I looking for? It was the cat's eye.
I think I have a shot of the cat's eye, and then if you click it, there's from the 107.
There's the blue flash.
It's kind of far back. I think this was in Oops, early fall.
Got it. The Crescent Nebula. I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna do this. There we go. Can we see that then? Oh
Yeah. So is there another shot attached with that? Maybe not.
Yeah.
So that's what we looked at, and that's with the 16 in color.
No,
That's
there's
not
some
it.
sprites.
I'll go further back.
Row for you, guy.
You'll know. Keep going. Keep going. That's it. Right there. That's it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That's ridiculous, dude. That's
same
crazy.
Object. Yep.
That's it right there. That's what we're
Yeah.
seeing over there, isn't it?
Goodness.
Good grief. Wow. This is what 100 inches of aperture. Is this in the image, Stephen? Are these shock waves in?
Yeah. I have some debate. I've never seen that in any other image, but I've never also seen any other image with a narrow band. That was a 1 nanometer passband filter. Now, if you don't know anything about filters, how it works, that's crazy. That's insane. But so if the shock wave is moving out or towards us a bit, if the energy, the not the shock wave, but the cloud of gas is moving, an object that's moving towards you will be shifted into the blue end of the spectrum. It's light, and an object moving away will be shifting into the red. So because the filter is only allowing a particular wavelength through, the thought is that because of the motion of the gas, it's being red or blue shifted out of the passband of the filter, which is why it's dimmer there. And why you have that ripple effect. So
yeah. Are you sure it's not walking noise? I'm just kidding.
It's a single shot. So yeah,
it's a single shot, not a mosaic. But yeah, Project Oxcart, thank you for sharing this, man. We appreciate you. And yes, Pradip, yes, Stephen does have a Twitter. Again, you're gonna want to do
no, I don't.
Oh, a Twitter. Oh, sorry. I was, for some reason I read Twitter and thought Instagram. I apologize. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, Jeffrey Williams says, this is fantastic. Thanks, Will, and great participants along with you. I couldn't do it without these guys right here. So yeah, definitely. And look at this beautiful image that Stephen is bringing us right now.
Yeah.
From the heart of Cygnus.
Right, and in health.
Yeah, and tell us. I stopped saying it because I can't anymore. It's just
right.
We overdosed
at
the El Dorado Star Party.
We did, yeah. I appreciate though everybody else that has picked it up though. I've got another couple of song titles on this record that I hope will catch on, but I have to stop saying them once the songs come out. So,
yeah, this is the Crescent Nebula, NGC 6888, and this is a Wolf Rayet star at the center, this bright one here. It's a big, massive star, and when I say big and massive, I mean like huge, and it's also nearing the end of its life. And this gas around it is stuff that was previously shut out, and basically, as massive stars begin to die, they become very unstable, and they tend to shed material very rapidly. Eventually this star will probably go supernova, but probably not anytime soon, many millions of years. But it kind of forms this awesome pattern, because as the shells of hydrogen and other things that were once part of the star travel outward, they encounter the interstellar medium, stuff out there in space, which kind of gives it resistance and makes it clump up. And the heat of that really enormous bright star is energizing it even out many light years from it. So it's a really crazy object. It's also very bright in X-rays. It's one of the brightest X-ray emitters in the sky. So
really,
Wolf Rayet stars are fascinating and really complicated, but fascinating. Highly recommend just Googling that, reading Wikipedia about Wolf Rayet.
WR stars.
Yeah,
you know, one of the other, I just read about this. They said another name for this nebula is the Euro sign nebula.
Yeah, I see that.
I'd never heard that before. Yeah,
the Euro Nebula.
Yeah, so the symbol like for the Euro currency, kind of the almost like a C with a line through it.
Oh, okay. What's it convert to in dollars? This nebula. I've never heard it called the Euro Nebula, but now we can't. We can still call it the croissant.
The croissant.
Because that's funny. Eddie Trevino's in the chat hanging out with us. Good to see you, Eddie. Cave Nebula. I don't know if that's doable or not. I guess it would be, huh? It's in what Cephas? It's kind of big for the field of view we have here, I think, but it would do really well in the H alpha. But again, for those of y'all that may be just joining us, we are live. These are live astro images from the McDonald Observatory in deep West Texas, out by Fort Davis. They are closed right now, but when they're back open, probably next year sometime, you got to go out to West Texas and visit Stephen on one of their public star party nights. It'll just blow your mind, first of all, how dark the skies are out there. But the area is beautiful. I mean, it's just heaven on earth, essentially. And you might even get to see a view like this if you go out there and there's no COVID. So hopefully, like I said, end of this year, maybe probably the beginning of next year, if not into spring or summer, the McDonald Observatory will probably open back up again. We can start going back out there and doing that fun stuff. But what are we at? 6,000 feet above sea level, Stephen, with this image?
Yeah, just about. Yep, around 6,200. Here, 6,300.
Is it a double star or is that an optical double?
I don't think so. I think it's just an optical double.
Uh-huh. And again, it's another one of those that's not quite in the center, is it, of its parent nebula. So it's kind of blown these gases and stuff out. But I guess maybe density or, like proper motion. Again, I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure in this case.
Bob said it's all due to gravitational waves. So see, I almost ruined it. Almost said gravity waves. Gravity. No, wait. It is gravity waves. No, the other one. I don't know. Whatever the other one is.
Get confused. I'm going to the cave here.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Get one for Eddie in here. What's the camera we're using again, Stephen?
The ZWO ASI 1600 mm-Pro.
There you go. It's a telephone address of camera, but it's
really
definitely
Yep.
What was that, Bram? Sorry.
It really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. Hello, Suzette. Yep, beautiful Texas. Best astronomy in the world is done from right here in Texas, and Stephen's proving it right now.
Yeah, we're looking at the cave, faint and big, but it's there. You can kind of see some of the nebulosity there.
Yeah, it's starting to come through there, and this is the first frame of the set, right? So we'll start to get more.
We'll start. Yeah, I'm using 1 minute exposures this time.
1 minute. That's actually pretty nice for 1 minute through an H alpha filter. Wow.
Yeah. Not bad. Stretch.
Beautiful pinpoint stars though. Mine always look like sausages, and I can never figure out why my stars are sausages. Does anybody know why my stars are sausages? Nebulas look good though. There's no detail in them, but they're there. Somebody said something about guiding, but I don't want to do all that.
Yeah.
Ronarius, sorry, says new to this. You may have to stupefy things for me. Hey, we stupefy things for ourselves, so you'll fit right in here. There's no experts here except for Stephen. So
I recommend tuning into our live stream next Wednesday at 7 o'clock on the McDonald Observatory YouTube channel. This is where I go to hang out and experiment and do weird things and just chat. But if you are new to this or you want more details or explanations, I do more detailed things on the McDonald Observatory official account when I'm actually, on work hours, basically. We'll be talking about galaxies in our local group, actually doing a repeat of a live stream which was interrupted by a YouTube failure earlier in November. Mm-hmm. Tune in Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Wednesday night. What time, Stephen? At 7?
7 CST.
7 CST. Yeah, that week y'all tried to go live, YouTube was just dying. So that little asterism right there in the middle, I think we just discovered a new one, Bram. That kind of looks like the Voyager probe, doesn't it?
Voyager probe? I mean, like,
see that bright star in the center? Okay, yeah, and then down, out is the whatever they have out sticking out of it, and then it's got that
that's pretty
long.
cool.
It looks like Boba Fett's ship, actually.
There you
Oh,
go.
Slave One,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
Yeah, Slave One. There you
Beautiful.
go. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's figure out what we want to call it, and then let's call it something.
Yeah.
It could also be some kind of sword,
Valerie asks about Pluto. Can you put that comment up there?
If I could find the comment about Pluto, which is there it is.
Yeah. So I'm not going to bother looking at Pluto right now. One, because it's kind of low, and two, it's dot. But yes, you could see it if we point at it. And during a live stream back in October, I looked at it on the McDonald YouTube channel. So if you search for Planet Fest 2020 on the McDonald Observatory YouTube channel, we observed Pluto live, and you can see it there. It's a dot. It's a dot. It looks just like any one of these stars. Even the Hubble Space Telescope can't really resolve any real details in it.
Yeah, that's right. Judith says we need some Horsehead Nebula. Well, we need the Horsehead to stop hanging out near the horizon, and
that's right.
But it will stop.
Get out of bed. Come on.
Yeah, well, it's just now rising from its slumber, but it is coming up, Judith. But we may not have time for tonight, but as we do more of these shows, as the winter goes by, probably we might actually have time for a little bit of the Horsehead. It's a good nebula, though, right? I love the Horsehead.
Oh, yeah.
I think
it's
a staple at all of our telescopes for sure.
Certainly.
It's Bortle 1, Pradip. I'm pretty sure.
-5, right?
1.5 or 2. But with the moon up, that's not really much darker than anywhere else because we got such a bright moon.
Yeah.
So really, the key tonight is the equipment that's making this possible. If I were to view this in the city with the same equipment, it would look mostly the same, honestly.
Yeah, because you're doing narrow band, and that blocks out, a lot of the light pollution, the sodium, high pressure sodium lights, the mercury vapor lights, and stuff like that. They're not burning. Luckily, we don't have hydrogen alpha lights on Earth, I guess.
Yeah.
That might make this a little bit tougher.
I like Bob's previous comment, by the way. Sausage-shaped stars.
Yeah, if you guys sausage-shaped star, it's Starlink's fault. Thanks, Travis. Yeah.
Thanks, Travis. There you go.
We gotta if it's wrong, we gotta blame Travis.
It's all Travis's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the other side of the sky. I've been working the east.
Other side of which guy?
My sky.
Oh, your sky.
I've been working the west. Sorry, we're gonna work on
Sky.
east. So there was some stuff in Cassiopeia people asked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was the Pac-Man, which I think you might be able to do.
On that before.
Wonka, wonka, wonka.
Waka, waka, waka. Here we go. Off to Pac-Man.
Off we go.
First, before I do that, I have to point at a bright star somewhere boring and calibrate the guider. So just be patient with me.
Yeah, see, this is why he doesn't have sausage stars, because he actually does what you're supposed to. I'm very lazy.
Calibrates and all of that good stuff, right?
Yeah, I have never proclaimed to be an astrophotographer who does his due diligence. I am extremely lazy. I have all my processing goes to Hummel.
Too, right?
Oh, sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say the Pac-Man Nebula, very close to the Cave Nebula, right?
Yeah, just right on the other side of the meridian, though.
Yeah, I know. That's
yeah.
So
right
it might as well be a
short distance to the sky, but yeah, you've got to.
Yeah. So I have to aim near the equator in the west, look at a star, calibrate the guider, which will take a minute, and then head over there. So.
Valerie says, I have an argument going with my family, her entire family. She's arguing with over whether or not you can see Pluto through a good telescope right now. Her family says no. But I think her family may be wrong, Stephen. I think Pluto is up, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's up. And yeah, we could look at it. It's just
yeah, with
interesting.
You would need like a 12-inch telescope, really. You don't need a 12-inch telescope to get Pluto, but you're going to want that to get as much light as you can. A bigger telescope is better, but at a certain point, it's not really going to matter. You're never going to see surface detail on Pluto with any earthbound telescope besides the Hubble, and that's even just a few pixels, right? Even with the Hubble. It took us going to Pluto physically with a spacecraft to even understand that it had differences in compositions on the surface. We had no idea about Pluto. We just knew it was a world out there. It was just really sort of the first of the trans-Newtonian objects, right, that we found. I mean, it was the stuff past. Did I say trans-Newtonian? I meant trans-Neptunian. Neptunian. Yeah. This is the telescopes after the Newtonian telescope.
The trans-Newtonian.
Trans-Newtonian, yeah. It's a whole new kind of Newtonian telescope.
Sounds like it could be a thing. Yeah, like
I know, right? Nobody corrected me, so I just kept going.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, Pluto's magnitude 14.4 right now, so rather dim. And when I've looked at it through, say, a 12-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, I've had to refer to, star maps and whatnot just to make sure I was looking at the right object, right? Just to discern it from the rest of the background stars is really difficult and takes a little bit of validation.
That's right. Yeah, you have to know which pinpoint of light you're looking for. So you'll see, like, maybe there's a square of stars that's sort of off, a square that's off, and maybe there's a point of light inside, and that's your planet. So you have to know exactly what that shape of star is and where, in conjunction with that shape of stars, your planet or your object is. And we call that star hopping. It's something a lot of us do sort of instinctually with a telescope. We put it up there, we start beginning the search. With a lot of the Messiers, all you need to do is get in the general vicinity of the area with a 12-inch telescope and just start scanning.
Right.
And eventually something fuzzy will pop out at you.
Like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, like, whoop, there it is. But then sometimes with these things like Pluto, you actually have to put in a lot of work to get those.
It's hard. Yeah. Even with this telescope and like knowing what it should look like, it's hard to be positive. Like, that's definitely it,
Yeah,
that's maybe definitely.
That's how you know you actually see it, right? Is you're not sure if you saw it.
Right.
If you're sure you saw it, you definitely didn't see it.
Yeah, it's kind of like those IC objects. If it says IC, you might not. Thomas Glusk says, should I buy the Unistellar EV scope? I'm going to leave that one with Stephen Hummel.
I do not endorse or give product reviews.
I was about to say, Stephen Hummel is a official spokesperson for Unistellar. And, of course, that would be a joke, y'all.
That's not true.
That's not true. Let me preface all that by saying it was a joke. Okay, don't like soundbite me later. But I don't recommend them, Thomas. That's just me. I think if you want to get into astrophotography, you should start assembling your adult Legos, which is what I call it. The telescope, get you a nice mount, get you a nice telescope, and start playing with cameras and how you want to do things. There's so many videos on YouTube to kind of guide you through this. That I feel like there's way more satisfaction, way better quality in imaging. I haven't played with one of these EV scopes yet, so I could be off base here, but I've seen the images that come off these scopes, and I have to say that people with comparable monetarily, astrophotography setups in a comparable price range, they do a lot better job. That's just me.
Yeah, they do.
None of us are endorsed by them, though, so it's not like we're making any money or making anyone angry, really, with this. They might be angry at Stephen that he's not endorsing them, but
yeah. Yeah, I agree, because one of the things about the Unistellar is that they try to make it easy and that everything is already kind of done for you and integrated. But the trouble is, once you get tired of that, you want to upgrade, you're out of luck, and you have to basically start from scratch. So get something that will grow with your experience level.
Wise words right there. I think that's the nail in the coffin right there. Is no scalability up. And that's a great product if you're just using it for what it does. But like Stephen said, if you want to start taking pictures of the great attractor, you might not want to use the EV scope.
Or this, yeah.
Or this particular object.
You can't do H alpha with it, I don't think. Right?
I don't think so, unless you hold a 4-inch H alpha filter over the front of the.
Yeah.
Hold it there while it's taking exposure. Which I don't know, a 4-inch H alpha filter would be like $9,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That'd be
be
crazy.
expensive, right?
Yeah, that would be a lot of money.
Yeah.
I've got another idea for somebody who wants to get into astrophotography. The post-processing is quite involved, and of course, the expense to get started is huge. So there's actually some remote telescopes that you can buy time on, and then you can point it at the objects you want. You can download all the images you want, and then at least get your feet wet with the post-processing and see if it's something you really like.
That's right.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you
What
can,
I've heard, something like for every hour of image capture, it's around 5 hours of processing or something like that, like a 5-to-1 ratio.
I would
that's what
put it.
Stephen spins on it. No.
I wouldn't say it's that bad. I mean, maybe when I was starting, I didn't know, but I have a workflow, so
Okay.
you can automate a lot of stuff in PixInsight now. So
Okay.
I would say it's the other way around. Actually, maybe 5 hours of light gathering is 1 hour of processing.
Really? Okay.
Thank you, Valerie.
Yeah.
Valerie says we're beautiful guys. Thank you very much.
She mostly means Robert Downey Jr. down here, which I'm covering her or him with her comment. That's hilarious. Boom, right in your face, in your face. No, you can't. No, don't try to get over it. I don't think so.
I wondered how those comments got up there. So you got a little control.
I can push buttons. Yeah. StreamYard is nice, y'all. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful. We're not endorsed by StreamYard, but we love it. So,
so Will, how come I can't respond in the chat stream over here?
That's a private chat between all of us. So I've been watching you talk to us while trying to talk to the audience out there. But no, and so what you have to do is kind of like a trick. So like Project here commented, but you have to look at that little icon below their name, because if it's come from YouTube, then you need to be on the YouTube stream to respond to that person specifically. Okay. Or you can do, I think y'all may have the option, or maybe it's just the host. I have the ability to comment to people on all the platforms at once, or I can just comment on each one. So
yeah.
And thank you, Project Oxcart, for sharing it with Fraser Kane.
Yeah.
You rock. I love Fraser. He's the man.
All right. What other? This is the Pac-Man Nebula. It totally looks like Pac-Man, by the way.
Well, in a bigger zoom, but
yeah,
dude, look at the structure you're getting, man. It's incredible.
That's nuts. I mean, some of the detail there on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen that. I've never actually looked at this.
Yeah.
The knots, the Bach globules or whatever you want to call them, man. I love my Bach globules.
Yeah. Reminds me of bok choy, but yeah.
I love a hot cup of Bach globules in the morning.
So is this a star forming region?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an open cluster you can kind of see there. We're going to see a lot of star forming regions. I think that's kind of going to be the theme. I had a request for 1491. Yes,
it's a great year.
Yeah,
that was the year, but that was the year they were getting ready to sail to America.
Yeah, before everything fell apart in the North Americans, the Americas.
The Americans, right?
That was the last good year if you lived on America.
The last good year.
Yeah, last good year. So this is the Fossil Footprint Nebula, huh? That we're going to.
That's right.
Okay, cool. I'm not familiar.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
I can't look at it. And
like Project Oxcart said, astrophotography is a bottomless pit. There is no lie here. I detect no lie.
Indeed. Which is why I'm just not going to even bother. Like, Will, you and I bought some ZWO cameras recently. Nothing comparable to what Steven's using, but still nice cameras. And I think that's the extent of what I'm going to do, right? Just to take some planetary images and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, this is,
That's so fun. I mean, like, people do great work with just simple stuff like that. And, like, you don't need a crazy setup to get awesome results,
Yeah.
It's how you use it. All right, here we go. Here's the Fossil Footprint Nebula.
Oh, wow. And Tom Weidman is here. Good to have you, Tom. NGC 253, which is one of those weird galaxies we all like. We haven't had a peek at that yet, though, Tom.
That is, the Sculptor Galaxy.
The Sculptor. Ooh, in H alpha, that might actually be kind of weird.
That's interesting. Yeah, we'll see M33 first because I know we're looking at H alpha, and then we may work our way there. I don't think it has a ton of H alpha in it, but I've been surprised.
So this is the Fossil Footprint Nebula. It looks like we may have a faint Starlink there. So thanks, Travis.
Thank you, Travis.
Yeah, thanks, Travis.
Oh, I see it now. I didn't even see
a little line. Yeah.
Oh, there
it
it is.
It may just be a really elongated hot pixel. I'm just kidding. It's definitely not in that frame, so it's probably just a little passing satellite. But now, I've never seen this object. This is a new one for me. So
I guess small.
It almost kind of looks like a walking ghost or something.
Yeah. Like kind of like a dancing motion. It looks like to me, like it's kind of I don't know.
Yeah, doing some
like that.
Doing some ballet.
The side profile of somebody with a really long nose.
Oh man, now you've really done it.
You see that?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately.
Like a cartoon character almost, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Judith says, "Oh, I forgot that living in the UK gives me different views of the constellations due to the time difference." That's right. Yeah, it's daytime over there, I think, right? Yeah, Orion is pretty much adjacent to my living room window right now. Oh, okay. So there you go. Yeah, it's a lot later there. Yeah, it just got dark here. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. It's weird that we live on a globe though, and it's bright in daylight in some places and not in others. Isn't that weird, fellas?
How does that work on a flat?
I don't know. With a firmament above us, though, how does are all these images from the McDonald Observatory? Well, they're captured by the McDonald Observatory. Well, captured by Stephen Hummel. But they are from the McDonald Observatory, piped right out of the mountain for you guys and gals tonight.
That's right, and I ruined it. Whoops.
And there it is. It's over. So thanks for tuning in.
Gonna adjust the stretch, see how much I can bring out. Is kind of interesting that there's these two fainter structures here and here. Maybe
and what was the NGC number on this one again, Hummel? It was 14 what?
1491.
Like 14. How can I forget that?
Yeah, we had a whole bit about that.
Yeah, the whole bit about the year. Oh, it's right at the tip of Perseus.
The Tarantula Nebula is not visible. I wish. Man, it'd be cool, but no matter how late I stay up, it's never going to be visible because it's southern hemisphere.
You can stay up for a long time.
Yeah,
we'd have to fly to the other hemisphere to see that one, unfortunately. Benjamin says, all the begging in the world won't get my wife to make my roof look like that observatory. Well,
you got an accent there from
sometimes, you just got to ask for forgiveness instead of permission, I think. That's what I do. How does that work out for you, Joe?
Blow $100,000 on an observatory real fast. See how it goes.
I just plead ignorance right after doing it. What? What happened? How did that telescope get
zero on there?
So is this another Wolf-Rayet kind of thing? Because I'm seeing here, Stephen, in the Sky Safari Pro, it says the reddish color of this bright triangular nebula indicates that it is mainly composed of ionized hydrogen, which is great for H alpha. The nebula has an 11th magnitude star at its center. The central star is blowing a bubble in the gas that surrounds it. The winds from this star are so energetic that they are breaking up the nebula around it. Oh, so it's like a passing star.
I think it's like just another O or B class, in a dusty neighborhood. I don't think it's necessarily a Wolf-Rayet. There's only a few hundred Wolf-Rayet stars in the Milky Way that we know of, and most of them are in Cygnus area. So I don't think this is a Wolf-Rayet. They tend to be found in environments that are just full of unbelievable star formation, and this kind of isn't. It's not quite up to that 11th level. So I think it's just probably a B or O class star, probably B. That's just.
Now, is it that star in the center, that bright one?
Yeah. Yep.
That guy right there. Okay. All right.
11th magnitude. Yeah.
I see that as TYC 3339-0339-1. That's the name of the star. So there you go. Sounds like an address.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to M33 next.
Oh yes, the Triangulum Galaxy.
I see.
Is that 90 degrees filter, Stephen?
I mean, what is up and down? And it's a round thing. So
we're over here explaining the massively complicated, nebulas and stuff, and then it's like 90 degrees. Who really knows? I mean,
if it's moving around all over the place, like in reference
it's
to
90
what?
degrees to something.
Yeah, the filters are round, so it doesn't really matter how it's oriented.
And Travis says, even through all the blaming, y'all got me excited in stargazing, but out of everything. Yeah, everybody is out of everything. I'm interested in Planet X. So, Travis, you're going to be hunting for a long time, my friend, because Planet X, man, that's a deep topic right there, isn't it?
Yeah, people have been trying for a long time to find that planet up beyond Pluto, if it exists. A large planet, not some little pilly Kuiper belt thing, but
Trans-Dobsonian object or whatever.
Trans-Dobsonian, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Never gonna see it in any kind of Dob.
Past the Dobsonian, just passed.
Just passed.
And Chris says trans-Newtonian sounds like a warp drive. Exactly, like when they put techno-babble in the Star Trek scripts. Be like, the trans-Newtonian field, Captain, is far too strong for the sector. Stupid. I watch way too much Next Generation. Kenneth says, when starting astrophotography, should one start with a one-shot color or go straight into mono? I say start with a one-shot color, because when you're just starting out, you don't need as tight a resolution as Mr. Hummel's tastes require.
I disagree. I have strong opinions about this, actually.
Let's hear them.
That actually it's better to start with mono. Color cameras are often marketed as being easier to use, but in reality, the post-processing to get it to work right is just as complicated as a monochrome camera. And monochrome cameras are more sensitive. Way more sensitive, 2 or 3 times more sensitive. And you can put a filter in, like an H-alpha filter, and get this kind of a result from a city. So you don't, or when the moon is up, like tonight. So you double or even triple the amount of time that you have to actually use your setup that you spent thousands of dollars for. So I strongly recommend a monochrome sensor. At first, it seems intimidating to try to turn it into color later on. It is almost no more difficult than an ordinary color camera. In fact, I think it's easier. Because out of the box, those color cameras, they're not going to produce quite accurate colors. You still have to work at it. And if you're going to work at it, you might as well do it, the full thing.
The whole way. Hey, Liz, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hello.
Good friend of ours. And thank you for joining us, Cody. We really appreciate it. We appreciate everybody joining us, all the shares and stuff. Again, I hope you guys will look in the description of the video and follow all my colleagues here. Everybody's doing really cool stuff. Except for Bram, but everybody, it's a great thing. And
dang,
I'm working on it.
Bram's a punching bag tonight.
I just keep covering him up with the comments. It's fun. Now he's Kilroy. Look, he's Kilroy.
There you go.
Kilroy was here. Somebody get a screenshot, quick. So what are we looking at here, Steven? What do we got?
This is the Triangulum Galaxy. Now, when you're looking at a galaxy, usually you'd have lots of pretty stuff. Here it is in color. All right. So that's what it would look like if we had a long exposure and it was a moonless night. But what we're looking at is just the red bits here. You can see those, kind of like this reddish bit over here. And reddish bits over here. So we're just looking at that in black and white. And only a part of it, because we have a smaller field of view in that picture. So those are star forming regions that we're seeing. Those are areas where stars are being born. You can see there's quite a lot of them in this galaxy. I've centered it kind of off to the side. The core of the galaxy is, roughly here. But you can see it extends off pretty far. But we're just seeing those star forming regions. They really just pop.
That is absolutely fascinating, Stephen, because I've only ever seen, I've seen it in night vision and obviously in pictures and everything, but visually, it's a faint little galaxy that's real big and sort of barely above the background sort of glow. You need a good sky to see it, except for that NGC. I think it's like, what, 204 or whatever that little pocket of, or maybe I'm thinking of in M31, but that's absolutely, it just looks like a dirty lens right now. You're just looking through a dirty lens, but those are actually pockets of gas in a galaxy that's what, about 3 million light years away?
Yeah, about 3.1-ish million light years, which is still pretty close.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to actually recenter it now and kind of put it a little more to the side. But I saw a comment from Rainey Miller there. I was kind of want to try that one out.
This one?
If it took detailed images of rocks and dust collected from the moon, Mars, or other celestial bodies, would that be considered astrophotography?
Yes. I want to go with the controversial answer.
I mean, I guess the Earth is a celestial body, right? In a way.
This is technically astrophotography.
We are in space.
We are star stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is astrophotography.
I don't know. I guess so. I think so.
We're stupid. I love it. I love that we're stupid because it's fun. If we're too smart, then it's just like, hello everyone, welcome to our show. It's no fun.
Grab a cup of Joe and join us.
Grab a cup of this guy and join us. Another pleasant evening of music by Bob Snyder.
Triangulum in this hydrogen alpha looks like a bacteria culture in a petri dish.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Have a good night, Judah. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Monos are good for people in bad light pollution too, Aaron Strickland says. Yeah, I guess you can do narrow band. You could really do what Steven's doing from downtown Houston, probably, if you wanted to. You might not want to. Who would want to? But you probably could. Maybe even better than the EV scope, right? This is fun. Are you going to record Jupiter and Saturn? Not tonight, Veronica. We, we do those in the past, but tonight we're on a little bit of a deeper sort of tour. We're going into the deep skies, exotic objects in an exotic spectrum of light. So no Jupiter in that tonight, but we're about to get enough of Jupiter after like December 22nd. If you open Facebook, it's like that going to be that meme where it's just like Jupiter and Saturn just are going to be hitting you on December 22nd. So if you like Jupiter and Saturn, that will be a great early Christmas present, because I guarantee you that every astrophotographer you've ever even heard of will be out with a telescope on December 21st trying to get something about Mars and Jupiter and Venus. Hummel, I don't know. What do you think? Mars and Pluto.
21st, the conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn, you'll be able to see both of them right next to each other in the same like telescope field of view at high magnification. It'll be low in the sky, but it's going to be amazing. Thanks for joining us, Judith.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does anybody know how far west we would have to go to actually see them cross each other?
I don't know.
You'd have to be off planet. Have to be off planet.
Oh shit.
So right in the corner, there's a really big star forming region, which I didn't center very well because I couldn't see it while centering. But there it is. Yeah. That's 604, I think. NGC 604.
NGC 604. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I say, 204?
You whatever. You got it close
something.
Enough.
That was a few
206 is the one in Andromeda. That's
right. Yeah.
Open cluster. This is the star forming region. But yeah, it's like several thousand times brighter than the Orion Nebula. It's crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
And
that's nuts.
And and it's all the way over there. It's not even in our own galaxy.
Yeah, you can still see it.
It's incredible. Yeah.
So Travis asked about tracking satellites. Yeah, there are definitely people who track satellites. I do it sometimes. I've tracked Starlink, and I have intentionally observed Starlink. I actually did that last week to observe just how bad the effects are for our research telescopes. But yes, it is possible.
I know people who have done the same thing for the International Space Station. So not, very similar. So they'll actually make firmware modifications to their tracking mounts and whatnot to be able to track an object that moves faster than most of the objects you track in the night sky. And they've gotten some pretty impressive images out of it, right? You can see a lot of detail, like the solar panels, some of the modules, or I forget what they call those on the ISS and whatnot, but really, really neat pictures that are being taken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the different modules. If you follow the ISS in your backyard telescope, I've done that even in my 12-inch Dobsonian.
Yeah.
And I saw the solar panels, and I saw the little individual modules. There was someone in the cupola. They were waving at me. That last part, I made that last part
Sophia
up.
Coppola, what?
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was fantastic, and I was blown away that I was able to do that. No, this was like 5 or 6 or so years ago, and I was just totally blown away. So ever since then, when it comes over and I have my scope around, I either try to follow it or I try to like put my phone up to it and follow it, which is always a disaster.
Sure.
Yeah.
I gave up, once or twice trying that. Yeah, I'll have no luck doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the images are just incredible. I mean, you could Google those and you'll see really, really sharp images of the ISS taken from ground-based telescopes. It's really impressive.
Stephen Hummel has a video on his Instagram, I believe, somewhere way back. This was way back in the day, maybe a year or two ago. Where he tracked the ISS from horizon to horizon, basically.
Really?
A good pass. And you can see as it goes over how the perspective changes, of the station. It's absolutely fascinating.
Wow.
I can probably find that while we're looking at this.
Go ahead. There's another satellite.
And like Bob said, Mars and Jupiter and Mercury will make a smiley face because that's how that works. And hashtag blame Travis. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, Travis, come on.
We need before I go find that, it would be funny to
Yeah, Stephen, you said you were intentionally tracking some of the Starlink satellites. I think most astrophotographers do so unintentionally. So.
Right. So what I was trying to figure out is what kind of effect would it have on a spectrum, particularly from the Hobby Eberly telescope.
Interesting.
So we aimed at actually M65, the Galaxy in Leo, around 5 in the morning, when I actually got time with the Hobby Eberly telescope, which is rare, and they aimed at that galaxy and let Starlink photobomb it, and we're currently processing the data. We're trying to figure out, is it ruined? Is it salvageable? So on.
Not many other humans have ever uttered the phrase, "When I get time on the Hobby Eberly telescope."
Right.
Such a jerk. He's like, "Oh, when I'm just over there."
The last time I got time on it.
Last time I moved this behemothly large telescope. I'm digging through your Instagram, Stephen, and there is so much stuff you've done here.
Yeah, I've done a lot since then.
How do you know about how far back that was?
That was maybe a couple years ago.
That'll be easy then.
Go all the way to the bottom and start.
Yeah, that's exactly, and then start going up.
I'll try to find it here. I'm looking at the Heart Nebula, by the way.
Yeah, let me get that up. Oh, we got it up. Okay, yeah, and like Travis said, that's Starlink number 213 there, off to the right. Just letting you know. We won't be looking at Mars, Veronica. Mars is a barren wasteland of nonsense for us deep sky astronomers.
Isn't there a big dust storm there? Isn't there a global?
Oh, is there really?
Last week there was. I don't know if it died down or if it went global, but last I saw, it was getting all fuzzed out, so there wasn't really anything to see.
Been a couple of weeks since I've looked at it, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
This
here it
year's
is.
opposition has been much better than the one from 2 years ago. So
absolutely.
There we go.
There you go. Let me get rid of this here.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
Rock solid. That's with an iPhone too.
Using the front-facing camera, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was selfie cam.
There's a perspective shift. It passed almost directly overhead, so you have to go from facing one direction to facing the other way.
That is incredible.
20-inch telescope.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to say this, and y'all may disagree with me, but I'm not kidding when I look through my 12-inch telescope with my eyeball following the space station, I see a tiny version of exactly that.
Yeah. I mean, looking through the eyepiece, it looks better than that.
You're right, because it's not overexposed. Like your eye can do better than a camera. No, that's not a knock on your work, of course, but it's just what happens. I mean, your eye is just so much better at at some things than the telescope or whatever. But yeah, it's beautiful stuff, man. I remember our friend Ron Sparkman shared that on Stardom and got a lot of awesome hits on that. Got a lot of attention. Look at the detail though in that nebula, that H alpha. What's weird is shouldn't those satellites be invisible though, unless they're broadcasting in H alpha?
Satellites still it's reflecting sunlight. Sunlight still reflects red,
Yeah.
So, it still does it.
Tom Weidman says it's Thanksgiving week. Has anyone asked what a space turkey says? Hubble, 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 hubble. And then he said someone had to say it. No, Tom, that's not true. No one had to say it.
I shouldn't have laughed that hard at that one, but that one was a good one.
What does the turkey say at Stephen's house on Thanksgiving? Hummel, 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 hummel. This is really dumb. We've really digressed into
that part of the night. Yeah,
but that's what we do here. I mean, after a few cups of coffee and a lot of astronomy, these ancient photons have been known to cause corruptions in the brain. I mean, just look at Bram. This guy has seen more ancient photons than all of us combined, and that's why his beard is so amazingly well shaved.
I'll never.
I have a confession.
Oh no!
I have another name for that bubble nebula. It's the Snot Bubble Nebula.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if that's a confession. I think you should have kept that one in. I think you should have kept that one in. I don't know if we're going to go around being like, okay, kids, this one's the Snot Bubble Nebula.
Oh, they'll love that.
If you notice, it looks just like that snot bubble on little Timmy's face right now. Take a look at that.
Yeah, it's perfect for COVID, right?
Yeah.
COVID era.
It's the COVID snot bubble
Keep
nebula.
your snot bubbles to yourself, okay?
And we are on the massive 16-inch Ritchie Crescent telescope at the McDonald Observatory out there. Thanks to Stephen Hummel, the man himself, the guy right there who has evil eyes. They're aglow out there in the deserts. He doesn't look like that normally. I will tell you that he doesn't have glowing eyes in public. Although I've never seen him in a mirror, so I don't know.
They hydrogen alpha too, or
this would be a great time to measure his pupil diameter.
What is it, Bram?
Oh yeah, measure my
pupil diameter.
Oh yeah, we could give him an eye exam right on the spot.
Yeah.
This is the I was trying to get the Soul Nebula, but there isn't a whole lot. It's so big that
it's like my soul. It's not there.
It has no soul.
It has no soul.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna move on. The heart was a lot better. This is the heart of the heart, basically.
The heart of the heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can we do Reflection Nebula or no?
Not with H alpha.
Okay.
Not with H alpha. Interesting.
Won't work.
Marcus says, "Hey, Will, when is your next album coming out?" That is a great question. I don't want to give away too much, but since you asked, soon. The next single will be out in days. The first single, I should say, for Deep Sky Tunes Volume 4. It's hard to believe I'm on the 4th record at this point. And the first, I will since we're here, I'll go ahead and spoil the surprise. But the only 62 of y'all will know. The first single is called "First Light," which is a fitting title. If you've ever had a telescope like the one here that received first photons, that's what that term refers to. A camera can have first light, an eyepiece can have first light, whatever. So I figured that would be a cool title for a song. And it's actually going to be the first track on the album, and it's going to be the first single. So there's a lot of firsts in there. But it's a very spacey instrumental. Obviously, most of my stuff is instrumental, but it's more synthy, kind of spacey based. So if you're following my Spotify, pay attention over the next few days because something's coming. So there it is. go ahead and get to some other questions while we're here chilling. Have we tried Andromeda or M110? No, we haven't, but there's not much H alpha in those two that I know of.
The H alpha is so faint that I don't think we're going to have much luck with those.
Drowned out.
Yeah.
Project Oxcart says, yeah, still a dust storm on Mars, which is great that the dust storm came later, right? That we didn't get the apparition, because Joe got some amazing data with my camera through his scope at the El Dorado Star Party. That data is still in my camper, which is ridiculous. One of these days, Joe and I are going to get around to processing it, because I realized that while we were out there imaging Mars at the El Dorado Star Party, not only was it at the closest it's going to be to us for decades or whatever, or for the next decade and a half at least, but
15 years at least,
we also got Syrtis Major, which is sort of this Florida peninsula looking thing on Mars, and that's where they're going to land, sort of off on the side of that. That's where they're going to land Perseverance. So it was like so cool that we got that. I promise that's coming one of these days.
You know, for our first time doing something like that with, you know, a device other than an iPhone, it came out pretty good. We just have to do a little bit more processing, but I was really impressed with just how good it came out. Now, it was frustrating. I spent most of the night there under those dark El Dorado skies playing around with the camera. So I think it just kind of sealed the deal for me that I still want to stick to visual astronomy as opposed to astrophotography.
Yeah, the planetary stuff is also very time consuming and frustrating, can be it sometimes.
Yes.
Especially if there's a global dust storm on Mars when you're trying to get detail.
But I have to give credit to our good friend Bill Flanagan.
Bill.
The Houston Astronomical Society. He spent a good portion of his evening showing us what to do. And the guy has forgotten more about astrophotography than I'll probably ever know. So it was a great crash course in how to do things the right way.
Absolutely. And Adam is here with us, wanting to know what star cluster this is. This is the Heart of the Heart Nebula, right?
This is NGC 1893 over in Auriga, and
another good year.
It's kind of near the moon, so it's getting a little. We are getting a little bit of glow. I can get kind of close to the moon and get respectable results, but that's all right. I have a picture of this recently taken though in H alpha. Let's see if I can open that up real fast.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Prem? How you doing? Liz says, yes, best tunes for late night stargazing. Oh, thank you, Liz, so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You know, Liz is responsible, is going to be pretty much responsible for my next cover. I've never done a cover under Deep Sky Dude, but it is absolutely happening. Liz had a story going. We're friends on Instagram. She had a story up, and it had one of my favorite Enya songs of all time.
Oh, yeah.
From Shepherd Moons. The song is called Lothlorien. I probably said it wrong because it probably has some dumb pronunciation. But it's as a kid growing up listening to Shepherd Moons, which I did constantly nonstop. That one song always really just it tortured me because it was so beautiful. And she posted it, and I had forgot about that song, but then now I remember. And I'm learning it on piano, so thank you, Liz. That's awesome. What? And then, wow! Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, this is the same thing we're looking at, just a little longer exposure that I took the other night. These are called the Tadpole Nebulae, and you can kind of see why. It also looks a little bit like something else, but you know, if you thought that, your mind went there, not mine. So
Graham's mind definitely did.
Yeah. I was the only one who laughed out loud though.
So anyway, yeah, it's a great object. It's an open cluster and nice associated nebulosity, and this nice big cloud of dust too. I really like that part. So yeah, it's cool. Anyway, but that's what we're trying to look at. But the moon is a little too close to that, so we're gonna move off of it. Had a bunch of different requests for various things. The crab is up, but the crab is also even closer to the moon, so I don't think it's really going to come through.
Yeah, that's really close to the moon, isn't it? Yeah. Even with H alpha doing the narrow band thing, it may be kind of tough. But somebody had put up a question here, so I just figured I'd let Stephen riff for a second on narrowband. I can't find the question though. Where did it go?
Near this third most recent.
I'm just sorry, Jim Opry, a good friend of mine. He's from the local astronomy club here. So Jim, yeah. So here's the spectrum of light, right? If you're doing wideband imaging, you're just collecting all of it, right, Stephen? And then if you're doing narrowband, you're either trying to get the sodiums or the H alphas or the oxygen 3s or whatever. Just those particular ones, right?
Yeah. So just letting in the light from those particular, or in this case, that one particular H alpha band of light, because these objects are emitting that light very strongly, more than any others. And by making a filter that only lets that light in, you can cut away things like moonlight, light pollution, etc., fairly effectively. It's not perfect, obviously. You're going to get a little bit of contamination, but it does dramatically increase the contrast, so you can get away with pretty bright ambient conditions.
Yeah, because all the light pollution that we're dealing with is all this, but if you're just taking the HA or just the O3 or the hydrogen beta, then you really don't have to worry about it, because again, like Stephen said, it's just kind of getting that one, it's filtering everything else out, but that one little spectrum there. And they're expensive. I think the cheapest filter in this whole list is this O3 right here. You can get one for, a few $100, and then if you want an H beta or especially an H alpha, you're going to be dropping some cashola, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then are you screwing them onto eyepieces, or do you have a filter wheel or something else like that, right? Because if they're going onto eyepieces, then you have to make a decision. Is it 1 1/4 inch? Is it 2 inches? Right? Yeah.
And there's a big price difference between 1 1/4 inch and a 2-inch eyepiece.
Absolutely.
But you'd be like, oh, but it's only 0.75 of an inch. Yeah, that's what we all say too. We're kind of like, well, why is this a thing? So Liz has an interesting question. What is your top stargazing spot you've never been, but it's on your bucket list?
Atacama Desert.
Yep, same. Atacama.
Man. So Bram can't even use that. What's yours then?
Yeah.
You've already been there, marked it off the old bucket list. Where are you going now?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say Iron Bram. Where would you like
Iron Bram?
Iron Bram. I could actually play that if I had everything set up. It's really easy.
And let me go grab my bass.
And yeah, we can jam out. We have some Black Sabbath or enjoying some black coffee with a black screen. There's an image coming, but
I'm gonna stick with Atacama Desert, even though I've been there. It's awesome.
Can I just? I'll go out and say Australia, just because.
And for me, it's somewhere southern hemisphere, right? I've never had I've been to the southern hemisphere, a few times, but never had the opportunity to do any astronomy down there. So been to Brazil, been to a few other places, but for work, you're in the large city, you can't really enjoy those dark skies anywhere where I've been, at least. So. Yeah, want to experience those things. And the furthest south that I've done astronomy is actually in Hawaii. So a couple of years ago, got to go to Mauna Kea. And at the visitor center there, spent a couple hours looking through some telescopes. And yeah, none of the professional telescopes. I'm not Stephen Hummel. So
who gets carte blanche anywhere he goes. They're like, the McDonald Observatory is YouTube guy. Come on in.
Oh, you're here? Yes, we'll go ahead and cancel whoever had time. We'll bump them to the bottom.
We have no clue for you to run for us. It's this Electron 114 Bird Jones. Oh my God. Aaron says something we've all dealt with for sure, is that this hobby is unfortunately a little too expensive.
Yeah.
I will say it's cheaper than aviation. So there's that.
Yep.
But when you ride first class, you should pay the big bucks. Or no, wait, that's not how it goes. If you want to fly, you should do it first class. I don't know. That one failed.
Blame Travis for that one.
Well, blame Travis. Yep, absolutely.
I'm setting up on NGC 253 here.
253. Okay, so Tom Weidman, I know, is out there somewhere, and so he'll enjoy this one for sure. Now, NGC 253 is a very famous galaxy. There's the square of stars. I can already see it. The Sculptor Galaxy, and it's not called that because it's an artist. It's called that because it is in the constellation of Sculptor. Astronomers are very lazy people. You know, if there's a galaxy in Andromeda, we sometimes call it the Andromeda Galaxy. If there's a cluster of galaxies in Perseus, you get where this is going.
Yeah.
So the Sculptor Galaxy, though, in an 8-inch, a 6-inch telescope, maybe even a 4-inch refractor, this galaxy with just a regular eyepiece looking at it, sort of, with all the light kind of coming in. It's a spectacular galaxy.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
The moonlight is not doing it many favors at the moment. But it is a really impressive galaxy. And this is a great scope for it because it just barely fits in the field of view.
Yeah. There he is, Mr. Weidman himself. NGC 253. Nice, thanks. More than I expected. Oh, wait, he meant HA.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I knew that.
Just a little bit of a continuum there.
Man, look at the detail in the arm structure, though.
Yeah, do you see that?
You don't see that visually. I can tell you that. It's so crowded there that you just see this smudgy disc. That's interesting.
So I'm seeing some of the spiral arms popping out.
Yeah.
And you can see where there's gaps, right? Where there's more H alpha, I guess, than there's not.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me, that H alpha is actually showing a little bit of activity
Look
there.
at that.
Otherwise, doesn't really come up. I have an image of this, I think.
You see that X in the dust in the spiral arm there, to the right of the nucleus?
Yeah, the dark X.
Yeah,
just
do you see that?
Left of that bright star. Yeah. In between the core and that bright star in the middle right. Yeah. Wow.
You see that?
It's kind of disappearing. It's kind of lost it in there. Man.
Yeah, let me show the long exposure if I have it. Come on, 2903.
NGC 253. That one rolls off the tongue pretty easily. I didn't even mean to do that last part. What are we looking at? 12 million light years away, y'all. So the light left that galaxy on Monday, November the 30th. So it left there on a Monday. You know, it was filling a little case of the Mondays. And then luckily, instead of falling into the ocean or onto our rooftops, because we're all inside, it fell into Stephen Hummel's telescope.
Yeah.
And then was broadcast all over the world here tonight, which is pretty awesome. Look at that. Let's get that big screen.
So that's it in color at a deep exposure, but you can see how messy it is. There's so much going on. Now in the live view, we're not letting all the light in. We're only letting in that one particular color, and so it's also mirror flipped, I think. But it's still interesting how much of it actually is still showing up in the live view, despite that. Because again, like the moon is bright, y'all. The moon is very bright, so it's going to wash out a lot of the details that are not that specific color we're letting through.
Yeah.
All right.
Sharpless 2. I'm looking this object up for you, Stephen, to see what we're looking at. Hopefully the string works. Oh, it did. Look at that. The string worked. Okay, this is an object over in Cassiopeia.
All right.
Not far from where we were with the Pac-Man, really. Just on the other side of Cassiopeia.
Okay.
Which is the wrong pronunciation, so I don't want to ever hear any of y'all out there pronouncing it. Cassiopeia.
So, unfortunately, SH2 it's not being found. I don't have that catalog.
Can you do LBN?
Probably not. This guy X is terrible for this stuff. But
I can give you RA and DEC if that will help you.
I'll find it. What's the LBN?
LBN is 568.
Okay. I will find the RA and deck and type it in.
RA and deck, I have that if you need it, but otherwise,
I'll just copy paste it.
copy paste. Okay. That's a lot easier
Yeah.
than sounding like what's her name from Contact? Right ascension 472, declination 94B for some reason. There's a B in there. We don't know why. These are coordinates. Somehow there's a B. It's the aliens. Kashinath says, good work deserves good recommendation. Thank you. Huh?
Yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Mr. Nathan is indeed a helper. Oh, okay. So this is spam. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, so
by the way, I
you just got banned,
that's
brother.
The Euro symbol there, by the way. Going back to the whole Crescent Nebula thing.
You just got blocked. How dare you drive by marketing? I should have done a better job in reading that before, though. I apologize to everyone here. I'm not really sorry though. It's kind of funny.
Sorry, not sorry.
But hey, any more drive-by marketers that would love to get banned? Hey, we love banning drive-by marketers here. So go ahead and drop those links down in the description.
Sorry, you're gonna get a whole lot of nothing. Yeah.
That's my bad. I'm over here pushing all kinds of buttons, but you can see the scope moving down.
Ooh, low.
Ooh, okay. That is low, huh? You barely clear the roof with that one.
Barely. I'm only using about 90% of the mirror. Yeah. We'll be seeing something.
It's part of the wall.
Yeah. So this is SH2168, right?
SH2168, yeah. Also known as the Little Bright Nebula 568. No, I don't know what that means. I think it's like the Lena Bright Nebula catalog or something like that. I forget the name of the woman that made that catalog. Am I getting that right? The
LBN? I don't remember.
I think so. Or
that
maybe that's
catalog of bright nebulae.
Which one is it? Sorry, Joe.
Lens, LYNDS.
Lens. Okay. So maybe that's the other one I'm thinking about. The Dark Nebula.
The Dark Nebula. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, there's an LDN. Okay, so yeah, it's getting confusing here.
Yeah, technically, I'm not using the full mirror for this because I'm looking at partially the wall because it's so low. But we'll give it a shot. See what happens. Hopefully it's not too overwhelmed by reflections from the moon on the dome.
Mm-hmm. Veronica wants to know, is there an Earth-like planet in that galaxy? I would think, Veronica, that if there wasn't, that would be a statistical crazy thing, for lack of a better term. I would imagine that there are thousands of Earth-like planets there, possibly even the same mass, with the same composition, but then you get all the Venus type scenarios and stuff. There's probably unimaginably massively numbers of worlds. There's so many Earth-like planets out there that we probably couldn't even count them all. Now, do they harbor life? Who knows? Maybe, probably not. Maybe so. Who knows? But we probably won't ever know in our lifetimes for sure. But they're out
by Earth-like, is that is it Earth-like in terms of temperature? Is it Earth-like in terms of atmospheric composition? Is it Earth-like in terms of water being present in abundance the way it is on Earth? There are a lot of things that go in there. So, but like Will said, if I were a betting man,
if I were a betting man, I'm putting it down on
exactly
on their.
I feel like this object, it's we're not really getting it's too low, I think, to really get
too low,
justice. So
and that was the sharp list. Maybe that's just why it's not very sharp.
Yeah.
It's very sharp-less.
Yeah. Very low contrast, kind of a nebula. Probably take a long time to bring out. Let's see. What we haven't done is the California Nebula, which is huge, obviously, but might show up.
Don't California my Texas Nebula. Tom, I'll go to this next. Tom Weidenman texted me and he said, that's actually named after Beverly Lens.
Okay.
So, and he said things I learned this week. So he beat us there.
Nice.
The Lens Bright Nebula list was named for Beverly Lens. I guess she went around and found all the bright stuff that Messier and Herschel missed.
Well, I have a feeling there's going to be a Wiseman's list of asterisms. So,
oh yeah,
the WLA.
the WLA. I'm on object 50 of my WLA list.
Counting, I know it's less than 10.
What asterisms you've discovered? Less than 10? Yeah. Well, we're almost there.
I lost count. Yeah.
So between he and I, we've discovered probably 20 or so of these things, and hopefully they don't Pierre Machine me and put my my objects in Graham's list and then call them the Wiseman list when actually some of them were discovered by Pierre Machine.
Right.
They can do that. That's okay. I'll let it happen this time, but only because he's Iron Bram. I am Iron Bram.
I am Iron Bram.
You just imagine him being really large, walking into a city, like a Bramzilla.
Bramzilla.
He's like, I'm on the screen right now.
The Bramdromeda Galaxy.
The Bramdromeda. That's another very famous object that Bram discovered. The Bramdromeda Galaxy. Mm-hmm.
Oh man! So I can see that there's a little bit of nebulosity there, but it's just barely kind of shining through the.
Yeah, we're looking at like what 2/3 of the nebula here.
Not even that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's over by the moon. It's really, really pretty close to the moon, honestly.
Yeah. I try to position the dome to shield the moonlight, keep it off the scope. But yeah, it's there. We're starting to get it.
Now Stephen? Is this more the San Diego area? Or are we looking at more like the Humboldt County?
I have zero clue.
I don't either. Yeah,
I think it's more of a Napa.
Oh, this is okay.
I just said go to the California Nebula, so I'd probably put it in the center. So it's probably like Bay Area kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Down by Marina Del Rey or somewhere in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful area.
Half Moon Bay. You
can see all the fire damage.
Yeah, I really, honestly, I'm only really seeing a bit right there.
Mm-hmm. Now this is more like
pretty big nebula. It's just it's pretty bright, but it's just maybe the scope just magnifies too much for its own good.
It's only 145 by 40 arc minutes in size, so it's just a small little nebula.
Mm-hmm. I got one of Orion's shoulders up.
Oh, yes.
Just one.
I was going to ask, is it possible to see anything in HA in M45 or?
Nah, probably not.
That's a reflection.
It's a reflection?
Yeah,
okay.
There's no HA activity in there, unfortunately.
Okay.
What about the Witch's Head? Luckily, I got the name right.
Isn't that also reflection?
Yeah, you're right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's blue. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Blue.
It's high enough, but it may not be actually because the shoulder, like Bellatrix, is up a little bit higher, maybe like 5 degrees or so higher. What is this thing? I'm looking at all the fun bright nebulas. There is Lowers Nebula. I haven't looked at that in a long, long time. In fact, that was in my earlier Herschel days, I think, for Lowers Nebula. Or maybe it wasn't even a Herschel at all. LBN 863. It may be too low for you, but it's in the club of Orion. The thing that he hits Taurus the Bull with. Spoiler alert. Orion does hit Taurus the Bull.
Okay.
From what I've heard. I know it's still playing out in super slow motion in our sky. He's sort of swinging the club, but over the next 150 million years, we will watch that happen. If y'all do have any questions for us, though, if you're still hanging out with us on a Monday night, we appreciate that. Drop the questions down below. Whether if you want to ask Joe about his social media, or if you want to ask Bram about his 20-inch behemoth telescope, you can drop those questions down below. Or if you'd like to know why Stephen's eyes are glowing a fiery satanic red.
In hydrogen alpha, yeah.
That's Hummel in hydrogen alpha right there.
Infrared.
Hey, so one thing I'll throw out there, I got a new telescope recently.
That's right.
And I'm, like all good telescopes, they have to have a name. So I am actively seeking recommendations or, just anything anybody wants to throw out there in terms of names for my telescope. So if you've got good names, throw them out there. I'm listening.
So Elvira comes to mind.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I'll get the nameplate made.
What about Telescope McTelescopy Face?
Okay. It could be Cloudy McCloud Face, right? Because we've got to deal with all the clouds.
Well, with the
of Clan McCloud
you had to go through, like Drivey McDrive Face could have been the name of the telescope. You had to drive to the California Nebula.
I did, yeah. Practically felt like I was driving all the way out to the California Nebula. So no, great point. I've been in the market for a large Dobsonian for a while, and had come close a couple times to buying something, and then somebody would always come in and outbid me, kind of at the last minute. And finally, somebody got on to Astromart, which is one of those websites that people use to for their classified services. And they had a 25-inch obsession telescope for sale. And, I saw it and I was like, oh, I better jump on this. There were 3 people who put in bids before me, but I was told that all 3 of them were asking for him to ship the telescope across country, and he didn't want to do that. So I was the only one foolish enough to actually make the drive from Houston to San Diego. Did that over the course of 4 days. And it was a long trip, but I finally have a large Dobsonian. So.
Yeah, and you were live with us on the way there. You pulled over on the side of the road to hang out on the Astronomical Society of Southeast Texas monthly meeting, and now you're back and you have the scope and stuff. And so, what we should do next month for the Astronomical Society meeting is have you on, and maybe have some pictures of the scope, like how you got it and all that. And I think that'd be cool to kind of full circle that story there.
Would love to. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I was somewhere, I don't know, an hour and a half outside of Tucson or something like that when we jumped on that live stream. So I was really worried about not being able to maintain, cellular connection. But it's amazing how good the cellular infrastructure is now across the Southwest U.S. Yeah. You can be in the middle of a desert and still get a nice 5G signal. So I-10
is pretty nice for that, I guess, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Spencer says Big Bertha. That's a good,
that's a great recommendation, but my current telescope's named Bertha.
So it'd be Big Bertha and Little Bertha.
Technically,
Bertha
she's
Minor.
Blue Bertha. Blue Bertha is my current telescope because it's a blue, LX200 GPS telescope, Schmidt-Cassegrain.
But it could be Bertha Major and Bertha Minor.
That's hey, you know what? I like that.
I like that.
I like that a lot. Yes.
It almost is too. It almost works too well.
Yes.
Bertha Major and Bertha Minor. Set them up next to each other, and we'll get a moon going, and we're done. We just broke the internet.
I think you got it. We'll still take other recommendations, but I like that a lot, Will.
Yeah. Jerry says the nebulizer. Ooh. Which is great for if you're having some congestion,
like asthma or whatever.
Yeah. You
Jerry, you open to masculine names?
I'd prefer a feminine name, but look, if it's good, I don't care, right?
Diego.
Oh, because I went to San Diego to pick it up, right? Yeah. Technically, I was in Poway, so
ooh, that's even better. Poway.
Yeah.
Poway. Spencer says that's great, Will. He likes that too. So that'll be a strong in the running. Of course, Joe has the final say for what he gets to call his telescope. But there you go, 365. Did I say that right?
Millimeters of fun.
630. Am I dyslexic all of a sudden? 635 millimeters of fun.
That one doesn't
quite roll off the tongue as I proved. I stepped all over it, but interesting.
Yeah.
How about homunculus?
Homunculus.
Humongulous. The humongulous telescope. No, that's a good one. I like that one. Bram. Put that one on in the running for sure. But look at this, guys. This is not a galaxy at all. Anybody know what this is? It's not Pluto either. I will ruin it for you.
That's
Yeah,
not
I'm not
a
really
moon.
sure.
It's no moon. It's a space station. If Sean Connery were Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's no moon.
That's no moon.
There's Messier A and B though, right up there together. Two
Yep.
natural
Yep.
impacts. There you go.
Yeah.
My two favorite craters.
Yeah, so you are looking at the Messier objects there.
There you go. Yeah.
Somehow we've gone full circle on the moon. Look at that.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. It's a sphere. Go figure. Oh, Mare, what is that? Chrysium?
Yep.
Yeah, so I went to the moon because the nebula you wanted, Lowe's Nebula, is too low. So
Too low. Yeah, too low for the lowest nebula.
And someone asked about the comet in Orion because of the moon, because this thing is so close.
It's like right on top of the moon, isn't it?
Yeah, there's unfortunately no hope of seeing it because of this big, bright boy here.
Good
I
old
think
moon.
it debunks the theory that the moon is made of cheese. It's clearly made of gelatin.
Yeah.
That joke was Gouda. A bit cheesy though.
A little cheesy.
No, this is guys. This is proof of the lunar wave. This is what flat earthers look for: is lunar wave
To prove
moon.
that it's a hologram, or
Yeah, the moon isn't real; it moves.
yeah, a hologram projected in the night sky.
Yeah, and I'm like, I get that question a lot on my Instagram. They're like, "Have you ever heard of the lunar wave?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we call that the atmosphere."
Atmosphere, yeah, and everything does it.
Yeah, that's why stars twinkle.
No lunar wave, but I can moonwalk.
Yeah, is that a new dance? It's like a new TikTok dance.
Yeah.
I'm doing the lunar wave over here, y'all. Yeah. Actually, Bram would be the most amazing person to work on an actual dance for us. That's our new mission, is to come up with a dance for the lunar wave. There it is.
Yeah,
There
look.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Got some olive oil in them
It's
hips.
just a serpentine motion with the head. It's the lunar wave. And I love it because I don't have to move anything else. It's just that, and it's there. Look at Plato.
Yeah.
Plato's that dark crater sort of up. There you go. Lovely, lovely crater. The good thing about the moon is, like, once you memorize major areas and you've looked at the moon long enough, it never changes. It's just like the nighttime sky. Once you learn the constellation of Orion and the ones around it, you'll never not know where Orion and all the constellations around it are. Just like if you look at the moon and you learn where Plato is, Mare Crisium, some of the other like standout features that really kind of pop, you're going to remember them forever because they're always facing us. One side of the moon always faces us. And that's a nice treat.
One of my favorite little spots on the moon here, that magnetic anomaly there.
Yeah, tell us
like
about that, Stephen, if you would, man.
I can't remember what it's called. Jeez, it's been a while.
It's not Aristarchus, is it?
No, it's it's an example of a lunar swirl, and I will zoom. I'm going to increase the frame rate, and
which is a different dance than the lunar wave, right?
That's true. Yeah, it's very different.
Bram's going to have to come up with a different dance for us for the lunar swirl.
So to try to stabilize the atmosphere even more, I'm doing some trickery.
Is it Rainier Gamma?
Rainier Gamma, yeah, Rainier Gamma. So it's this little smudge. I know it doesn't look like much, but for brief moments, the seeing will kind of stabilize. Basically, it's bright there because of a solar wind is hitting the surface of the moon, and it tends to darken areas. But it's brighter there because of a magnetic field is shielding that area a bit, and over time, the magnetic field kind of wanders around, and it's changed over time, and so it's created this swirl pattern. And so Rainier Gamma is the most obvious example of a lunar swirl, although there are other smaller ones too.
And it also has to do with that little sort of line that's sort of flowing down through the middle of the screen there too, correct?
I'm not confident about that. I think that's something It does have a little tail to it, but I don't know if the whole thing is. I'm going to see a higher resolution image.
For those of y'all that like to look at lunar images, but perhaps you don't have a nice telescope like Stephen here, you can always go on Google and type in the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. Go to the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter website, and on there they have a extremely high resolution images of the moon, because we have a satellite in orbit around the moon. We're taking high resolution images from the moon, essentially from the lunar, just above the lunar surface, and you can go around and you can play with that. And there's so much to see. You can zoom in on craters until you're looking at craters that are just a couple feet in diameter, and it's a beautiful thing. There we go.
There's your trail you're talking about, which we could see in the live view, and there's Reiner Gamma itself, and you can see how far we can zoom
which
in.
Is not a crater at all. There's not a crater there.
It's not. It is flat, which is really weird.
Yeah,
it's not a crater.
This is not the crater.
There's little craters, but yeah, the whole thing isn't one. It'll be unpixelated here in a moment.
It downloads the CGI from NASA, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's coming from Stanley Kubrick's server somewhere, right?
Yeah, his basement. Yeah,
his basement. Yeah,
that's where they shot it.
Yeah. So this I think is almost as far as you can go, but this is 0.5 meter per pixel, which is insane.
That's crazy, really.
Yeah.
You could see our telescopes probably in that view out there. If they're over a 0.5 meter, there are 2 pixels.
Come on, it's real slow. I think, especially because I'm streaming at the same time. There it goes. But I mean, you can zoom in on the lunar landing sites here. Let's see. Let's go to Apollo 15 here.
Ooh. Enhance. Enhance.
Wait a minute for it to enhance. There. Okay. Keep
going.
Enhance.
It's good that you know exactly where this thing is, because it's,
now is the hard part is the fine details of finding it. It's
just look for the flag. Yeah. You can see the flag from Earth, right?
Yeah.
Shush. That's it right there. That's the descent module there. Those are tire tracks. And one of the reflector, one of the retro reflectors, I believe, is over here.
Yeah, you can see the footprints, and those are the paths that they took, sort of, or the lunar tracks from the lunar rover. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's Apollo 15. It's the easiest to find because it's so near. Man, it's been so long since I've done a lunar talk. God,
I know, right? Yeah.
All this stuff. When we were open, I would do a lunar talk at least 2 or 3 times a month. But what is it called?
It looks like a rill.
Yeah, Hadley Rill.
Hadley Rill. Okay.
Yeah. Right here in the Apennines. So
it's real fun.
Near Mount Hadley.
We're full of dad jokes tonight. You find us Apollo 11. I know it's there you go, off to the right somewhere, and then
that's Lunar, a lot harder.
There you go. And then zoom in somewhere out there. Yeah, it's out past Moltke somewhere.
Yeah, they landed in the boondocks here, kind of.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure they didn't hit nothing, I guess. So they're like, aim for the flattest part we can find.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a different one. Yeah, it is officially 4 degrees in the mountains of West Texas out there, and Stephen here is, he's in a. It looks like he's in a warm room, but there's a massive hole in the roof.
Yes,
which is hilarious.
So, are they here? I don't know. I've been doing this for a long time.
I know we could. It's like playing Where's Waldo.
Yeah, I'll cheat. I'll turn on the.
The search function. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll turn on the overlay.
For reference, for those of y'all that may not be too familiar with lunar observing, all the craters that appear brighter, the brightest of the craters you see in this image, are newer in terms of like newer than the craters maybe around them, or the breccia areas, the volcanic stuff that's below them. Well, you weren't far, dude.
I wasn't far.
You were like 60 meters away.
A little further than that.
A little further than that. It sounded cool.
Yeah, there it is.
There it
You can
is.
see some footprints there too.
They're like, let's walk over to this big hole in the ground over here.
LRR, lunar laser retroreflector. I forget what the third R is.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and that retroreflector has nothing to do with the McDonald Observatory, does it?
Not at all. There's no
Not at all.
history there to talk about.
None. Actually, there is. We're being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that, Stephen? That what were they doing with that?
So that back in the late 60s, we built our 107-inch telescope, and when that was new in 1969, they attached a very powerful laser to that telescope, which fired through the telescope, used the telescope to focus the laser onto the moon, which struck that reflector, bounced back to the Earth, came all the way back to the telescope, through the telescope into the what's now the control room, where it hit a detector, and a peanut came out for the astronomer. No, I'm just kidding.
It was an M&M.
What? A peanut M&M? Yes. Finally, something good came out of a telescope.
No, that's how they determined the distance to the moon, was by timing how long it took the light to leave the telescope, hit that reflector, and come back, which was 1.2 seconds there, 1.2 seconds back at the speed of light. So that's how we determined the distance to the moon, and also measured how the orbit of the moon changes over time, how that distance changes, and so on. It's a lot of work came out of that. We still do laser ranging here, but for the most part, we use that technology to do GPS satellites to make sure GPS satellites are exactly where they need to be. And that keeps GPS accurate.
McDonald Observatory helping us navigate to the local Starbucks. That's how tied we are to the facility out there. It's amazing.
It's true. You can also thank supermassive black holes billions of light years away for keeping your GPS accurate.
That's right. Yeah. Without them, I don't know where I was going with that.
We'd be lost.
Yeah, we'd be lost. There you go. I was lost. And
yeah, I'd be lost in space.
I needed GPS to help me with my thoughts. One thing, can we look at real quick? Stephen, is Tycho up there?
Yeah.
I learned this in a lunar talk that Robert Reeves did for the Houston Astronomical Society a little while back. And you notice the rays, the lunar rays, those bright white lines sort of coming out of Tycho there in the center nicely. But then there's that one up at like 10:30, 11 o'clock that isn't coming out of the core of Tycho. You can see the lunar I call it the lunar runway down and to the left. Sort of two parallel lines sort of going off. Yeah, that's what I call the lunar runway. Some people call it the lunar railroad tracks, but that's I don't know, that's lame. I like runway.
You're talking about this one now.
Yeah,
because it doesn't trace back to the center. It traces kind of off to the side.
Yeah, and Robert put a thing out. He said, try to figure that out. You may win a Nobel Peace Prize or something. Who knows? But it is a little odd. The moon, when you look at the moon, you might just take it for granted. You might be like, oh, okay, well, it's the moon. This is just normal. Well, like Stephen just showed you, this area that looks like a crater is absolutely not a crater at all. It's a magnetic anomaly on the moon that causes the surface to age differently than the area around it, causing these swirls, which is crazy. So my question to everybody, and Robert's question to everybody, is why is that line coming out of the side of that crater? It's very odd.
Yeah, I know. That's weird. Yeah, that's strange. Maybe it's not even related, and it just happens to line up. But it sure is close, and it sure is bright.
It sure is close and bright. And one thing that, these rays are, quote, newer structures. They've been laid down in the last 250 million years or so.
Yeah, which is very recent for the moon. Yeah,
exactly. So the UV light from the sun, which there's no protection for the moon, there's no atmosphere on the moon. The UV light from the sun has a tendency to darken things. So these bright lunar rays that are sort of bright now, as the eons go by, the UV rays have a tendency to darken that material, and these rays kind of disappear. So if it was associated with a different crater, then it must have been maybe either covered up by Tycho, or who knows. But it sure is pretty well preserved to be covered up by something else. So and I see Tua here coming in with the answer. If you can't explain it,
Aliens.
aliens. Yeah. The ancient craters of the moon could not have formed
without the assistance of aliens.
There is no way simply that the people of the moon could have created the lunar race in the way that was therefore aliens.
The moon is a holograph created by aliens.
The moon is not even real. The fact that we're talking about the moon is crazy. No,
Proof that aliens exist.
It's amazing the logical jumps they make on that show.
Yeah.
Right.
But it is fun. But
I have two more objects, I think, and then I'm warm except for my toes. I can't feel my toes anymore.
Stephen, I got to commend you, bro. I can't believe you've lasted this long, but I know it's the warmth of our personalities. And Bram's glowing smile that has brought you through this far. Yeah, there it is. Now I need to take my sweater. Okay, now it's getting a little weird. Get my sweater off. It's getting a little warm in here thanks to Bram's radiant smile. So let's watch the dome move here. This is a very cheap telescope setup. Anyone can afford this. No, this is a very nice mount, a Paramount. Which one is it?
ME.
The Paramount ME. And that is a 16-inch telescope right there on top, capturing the ancient photons from distant objects. Of course, we were looking at the moon, was just a second and a half old. But we're about to go take a trip back into time as we're wrapping it up here. I do want to thank y'all as we are kind of slowing her down here and getting toward the end. Thank y'all for joining us and hanging out with us. This is the biggest crowd we've had for this long. I know that a lot of y'all stick with us for 3 hours because we sit here and ramble on for hours about nonsense. But you guys hang out with us, and we do appreciate that. And again, follow us online. You can see my @ is there. Joe's down here is right next to his name. All you got to do to find Bram Wiseman on Instagram is put an @ in front of immature and take the space away, immature astronomer, and you'll find him. And if you want to find Stephen Hummel on Instagram, just reverse his name like a phone book and put an underscore in there. Hummel underscore Stephen. I had it right the first time. There it is.
Yep.
And you can find us there. We'd love to have y'all follow us. Love to have y'all follow us here on Facebook and stuff as well. Don't forget to follow Stardom if you're watching us over on Ron Sparkman's platform. Hang out with us on Stardom. He's always posting cool stuff. And it's always a good time hanging out there. And oh my goodness, I don't even want to go to this because it's going to be too cool. But there it is.
There she is.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, you will.
I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, really?
Is it the Flame Nebula?
Yeah, there you go.
It's a swim.
Oh, this is the Great Attractor.
That's it.
No, it's the Botes Void.
The Botes. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. No, this enough of that. This is the Horsehead Nebula, of course.
Yes.
At an extreme close-up that would make Wayne's World proud. Wow, we are in the Horsehead tonight.
But it has Kubert's nose.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
Kubert's nose.
Yeah, like you think it's such a small object, and it kind of is. But when you look at it in this telescope, it's so different. Most pictures you see are very wide field of this. But yeah, that's the Horsehead for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the Horsehead is up, you know what else is up?
M51. I'm just kidding. 42.
It's been a long time, but yeah, we'll finally get around to seeing 42 again.
You know what though? I do want to bring up what's one of my followers brought up. He was like, I don't see a horse in this. He sees a headless torso walking, and I kind of see it.
I see that. Yeah.
Turn sideways.
Yeah. The head would be up on top there to the right, and then he's sort of walking with his left arm sticking out, sort of.
Yeah. Yep.
As one does after they lose their head, you sort of walk away, take it off, just walk it off.
Rub some dirt in it.
Spencer said, "Is the Emmy red or black? I think it's red, right?
Yeah,
Steve?
it's red. Yeah.
All the
It's like
Paramount
red.
ones, aren't
Red.
they? Are they?
Yeah. I think they're all red.
Yeah,
I think
that's
they
what I
are.
thought.
Some of them turn salmon or magenta after UV rays hit it enough.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We have the same one with a for our solar telescope, and it is a nice shade of pink.
Yeah.
What was that question there?
The question was, Chris Davis wants to know, is it true that heat from the sun on a full moon caused the laser not to work for distance? That's an interesting question.
So yes, the retroreflectors themselves have been sitting in space on the surface of the moon, since the late 60s, and they have the heat and the huge temperature change they experience causes them to expand or contract, and that does diminish the accuracy. So that it is degrading, and we hope that they will be replaced with newer ones. There was an Israeli lander that was supposed to have a retroreflector on board. Unfortunately, it crash landed into the moon a few years ago. And
was that Beresheet?
Yeah, Beresheet. It had a retroreflector, unfortunately crashed. The LRO, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, also has one, which works better. So you could do it, but it's really hard because it's moving.
Yeah, it's flying around the surface at an incredible rate.
Yeah.
At ludicrous speed, even. Celsa says, this is the funniest show ever. HBO, Netflix should get an eye on you guys. Hey, I am not against this. Everybody gets a Netflix series nowadays, right?
There we go.
Yeah.
I will take one.
We're gonna go big. We're gonna sell out.
Yeah.
Move over, Chappelle.
We'll be literally Netflix and chilling online with you guys live, which shouldn't happen, but it would. So the Horsehead is what we call a dark nebula, and you probably can't figure out why it's called a dark nebula. But what's happening here is there's just an area of gas and dust, and sort of that area behind it, which I like to call the ribbon nebula, because in a visual telescope, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that faint ribbon, and then as your eye adapts to the image, you sort of see the horse neck kind of forming, and then you see the horse head if you're lucky, if you have a big enough telescope. But I think I know Bram has seen this object visually. I know Joe has as well. I have, and I know Stephen has visually as well.
It's very tough. But
yeah, and I think a lot of us have seen it in night vision even too.
Yeah.
So
just a few weeks ago we did. Mark's 25-inch telescope with night vision. So it was a wonderful image there. Yeah,
and I mean, every different perspective is it's has its merit and is important and stuff. And that's just another way to view it. This is a beautiful way to view it too. And again, you may not appear live, but these photons are hitting Stephen's scope right now, and he's building this image for us over time. That's why slowly, as we first started seeing it, it was a little bit different, and now it's sort of evolved a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm gonna clear it out now.
Uh-oh. Off we go.
I'm gonna wait 20 seconds now for our next target.
Next target, which we will be surprised when it hits. It's 11:30 a.m. in Malaysia. Welcome, Malaysia. How you doing? I guess Daknam, is that how you say it? Daknam? Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. Woo. And this is a 16-inch RCOS, Alan.
Wow.
Oh, that was a little too bright. Let's fix that.
I see the trapezium.
Yeah.
Galleria says its left hand is actually waving. There you go. A headless waving torso. Tua says, that's a lot of gas. Yes, it is. I would make a Uranus joke, but we're past that. It's funnier if I pronounce it properly for that joke, I think. Wendy says, thank you for the fabulous evening of stargazing. Thomas and I are Houston Astronomical Society members. Well, welcome, Wendy and Thomas. Thank y'all so much. These two guys, well, that guy happens to be the El Presidente of the Astronomical Society. Yeah. And the assistant to the assistant vice president is Bram Wiseman right here. I'm just kidding.
The assistant to
the assistant to the assistant director now. Bram is actually on the board as well. And Brian, what is it you do on the board again?
I'm a disruptor.
There you go. The in-house disruptor. And I know Joe can definitely, he's nodding his head like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He makes sure that we're honest with everything. Yeah.
Joe's always cleaning up Bram's mess, but no, these guys are instrumental in helping Houston Astronomical Society run, which I am actually a member of the Houston Astronomical Society as well. And so thank you guys. Thank you, Joe and Bram, for helping keep that club running.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy job, man. That's one of the biggest clubs in North America, the Houston Astronomical Society. So it's not any wonder that one of the members would be here with us. Of course, you guys shared it on the Facebook, but with those kind of odds, it's pretty much a guarantee that somebody from Houston will be watching this.
Yeah, and Wendy, obviously you've seen your name, haven't met you in person yet, but hopefully once we get past COVID, we'll see you at a meeting or at the dark site. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And thank you, Wendy, for supporting McDonald Observatory. I really appreciate
Absolutely. The live streams that Stephen does, man, are amazing stuff. It's something you can grab the whole family, sit them down in front of the YouTubes, which again, heading to Netflix real soon. But you can get on there, get the kids involved. It's super family friendly, done by this guy right here. I'll move this comment so you can see Stephen's infrared face. But there he is. And he does, a lot less nonsensical banter, but we have fun here. It's more targeted and that kind of thing. But those are always great, man. And you got one coming up Wednesday again, right?
Wednesday, yeah, when the moon's out of the way.
All right, and I'm going to be sharing that on my Deep Sky Dude page for sure whenever y'all are going live, so y'all won't miss it if you're following Deep Sky Dude. Hopefully I'll be able to get that out to you. Yeah, the Tua says the Indian rover also crashed recently. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forget the name of that one though. Man, it was in my head when I said Bear Sheet because I knew there was the Bear Sheet and then the other one. But look at that M43.
Yeah. By the way, if you're looking for the link to the program Wednesday, you won't find it because it hasn't been published yet. But
it does not yet exist
tomorrow. Yeah.
Again, and I will be posting that link for everybody following Deep Sky Dude so that y'all won't miss it. It says Ken says when Stephen is in the observatory, how long do you image, or do you have an itinerary?
Right now, I don't really have an itinerary. And yes, this is a live view of the Orion Nebula.
This is live.
M42. And I mean, when I'm in here, sometimes I am just imaging something for fun, and it depends on the target, how long I spend. It could be an hour to 10 to 12, but I actually can sit at home and control this rather than be here, except for the dome. So I have to come out in my little warm hole and move the dome over every now and then. Yeah, this telescope is really made for outreach and education. That's why it's here. For some of the other ones, like the larger research telescopes, that's all planned out months in advance.
Yeah. Celsa, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore your comment earlier. I just remembered that you put it. The image or the video that I caught of that impactor on the moon, the crater is too small to resolve from Earth. So unfortunately we can't see it. But thank you for sharing the moon stuff or the moon impact video with your class. That's awesome.
I bet the LRO may actually be able to do that if you find it.
Yeah, and it's near Lagrange. The Lagrange H, I think, but I haven't. I meant to ask Robert Reeves the other night when he was doing his presentation for the Houston Astronomical Society. There was a lot of questions for Robert, though. So rightfully, mine got moved back a little bit. But I know Robert, so I could get with him. But I don't know if he knows about if that crater has been found or not. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's the Israeli was the Bear Sheet. That's right. Yeah, the Israeli spacecraft. Yep. But that's the beautiful trapezium, man. That's that we were talking earlier about these stars that sort of carve these gassy areas out with their solar or their stellar winds. They sort of create a shock front around themselves, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Except for we're seeing kind of through one side of it and kind of seeing the back side. So if you could imagine my hand being the gas and dust that we're seeing in that image, and the trapezium are sort of in front of that. sort of blowing the gas away from us. And those 4 stars are obviously they're in orbit or entangled with each other gravitationally. So they're going to change over the millennia. I mean, don't wait around for this, folks. If you could live long enough, you could see the trapezium change into the dimendium or something. I don't know what they would call it, but it'll be a different shape than a trapezium. It'll be sort of a weird thing or whatever, however they're moving, whatever their proper motions is. But you can see the nebula around this area. And from what I understand, is it the B or C star, Stephen, that is causing the whole nebula to glow? I can't remember exactly which one out of the.
I don't remember, but I mean, it's a combined light, but it's really the brightest one is the main component, as far as I understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, really just
they're massive. Massive
others too.
Stars, huh?
I have to, because of the filter, we're cutting out a lot of those smaller stars.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really only seeing the really biggest ones. I remember looking at the core with the 82-inch telescope visually and losing count of how many stars in this little patch I could see.
Visually, if you're in a telescope, a trapezium shot with an 8 or 10-inch scope is pretty easy at sort of medium to high power. You can easily see the trapezium, no problem. Now, the trick is there's 2 extra stars in the trapezium that, with a big enough telescope and a nice enough night, appear easily. And that's what is the E and F, I think. The E and F stars.
That's right.
Yeah, E and F, yeah.
Yeah. So the E and F stars, if you have a big enough scope, you can get in there and you can see these guys. You can separate them. I can't really make them out right now.
No, but I think the seeing is bad because it's so low and it's cold and stuff. But
probably the H alpha too. Yeah,
doesn't help it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is bright enough that with the moonlight, I'm gonna reset this and go to just a green filter. What that?
Thanks, Matt. You're the man.
With my 12.
You said what, Bram?
I've seen E and F with my 12-inch.
Was that at Okie-Tex?
I think in Columbus.
Oh, okay. Well, because you don't need like super dark skies to see that. I mean, you might not want to do it in downtown Houston or Dallas or LA, but you can definitely do it from a darker location. Yeah. And so you did it with a 12. No filters or anything, just a good night, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's unfortunately because it's so low. I think the seeing is not supporting that right now.
Yeah, you can see the stars look a little blobbish, but yeah, that's probably the filter. And when you're doing narrowband imaging, it does very strange things to stars.
I've actually changed. This is actually just green now.
Oh, see, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
makes them look like sausages, right?
Yes, that's what I'm used to. The sausage stars.
Yeah, yeah. On a cold night like this, especially out here in the desert when it was kind of warm in the day, because we're looking right over the ground, so the heat's still rising off the ground.
Heat dissipation, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what's making our stars extra big at the moment.
And the mountains around there are pretty thick, so they like to hold in some of the heat, I would assume, and sort of propagate it off all night long.
Yeah, it's surprising how long how long something can retain heat and just slowly radiate it out. But yeah, I don't even really need a fancy filter because this is so bright, even with that moon.
Yeah,
I mean, it's all there. Just not as contrasty.
Absolutely. The M42 is great in a pair of binoculars. You can even see this nebula naked eye from the right places. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Galleria, this is a program called StreamYard. Well, I guess a website called StreamYard. So no OBS or anything like that. Just StreamYard.com.
I am using OBS for the view to manage my view here. But that's not actually involved in the streaming. That's just to manage my screens.
On his side, yeah.
On my side. But it's not involved in the comments. That's StreamYard.
Yeah. Sausages end on. There you go. Yeah. That's what happens when you have real stars. You see the edge on sausages. Those are what you want. You don't want sausages side facing. So thanks, Matt. It's good to see you again, dude. Good to see you. What brand of filters are you using, Stephen?
At the moment, I do have another set of Baiters, but this is actually just the ZWO stock ones.
Oh.
So they're not actually... The H alpha is okay. I do wish I had my Beta in there because it has a little more contrast, filters out the moon a little better. But these are fun, and it's what's on the scope. And yeah.
Yep, these are real stars, JR. As far as we know.
But I think
he's talking about us once we get our next
Oh
right?
yeah. We yeah.
I'm just joking.
But I think this is where I'm gonna call it a night because I can't feel my toes anymore.
Yeah,
I'm cold. My hand warmers have stopped working. So
the hand warmers are no longer warming. But
yeah,
the fake stars, JR, are down here. We are the fake stars. So NASA has put us here. NASA pays our paychecks. Whatever you want to believe, it's all true. It's all true. What do they say when a conspiracy? I saw this meme. It was like when a conspiracy theorist comes at you with a conspiracy theory, conspiracy them.
Conspiracy them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah, like COVID is a hoax. Oh, you believe in hoaxes? Well, whatever.
You believe in viruses?
You believe in viruses? You believe in oxygen? No. But thank you guys so much as we're kind of closing out here. It's been an absolute pleasure. As always, Mr. Stephen Hummel, the man, the myth, and the legend, running that massive. We can see you there. There's someone standing next to you too, though. Who is that? It's Halloween. It's the Halloween
alien.
Yeah, it's an alien. Thank y'all so much for joining us, Christopher. Thank you for hanging out with us. You guys are so awesome, and we really appreciate y'all. Thank you, Bob. Good hanging out with you again, man. I can't wait to get out under actual skies with you, Bob, and observe with you. You too, Spencer. Give me a buzz, Spencer, a text or something. Let me know about the asset meeting coming up next couple of weeks, and we'll get that going. So have a good night, Spencer. Thank you again, Celsa. Thank you for always hanging out with us and sharing the feed. Yeah. She's always here. Celsa's always
you are
here.
Always. You've never missed one.
No,
it's impressive. Thanks for being here.
She gets a perfect attendance sticker for sure. Right. Kenneth says, thanks, guys. It was an awesome show. Can't wait for another get together. Laters all in clear skies. Absolutely, sir. Good to see you, Kenneth. Matt says he has on some alpaca socks. Now, that's the way to stay warm right there. I don't know. I've never worn alpaca socks, but that sounds very, very comfy for sure.
My toes are getting warm just thinking about it.
I know. I mean, I gotta take this jacket off. It's so warm. But again, we want to thank y'all for hanging out with us. We've been broadcasting live from various parts of Texas, but the images that you saw are right off the back of this massive telescope here that, again, Mr. Stephen Hummel was so gracious to run for us. We are his guinea pigs, and we don't mind, do we? Nobody really cares
Not
about
at all.
There we go. That now you can see the pinkness of the room. Everything is actual color right there. There's no false color to that at all. The magenta room.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But Steven, so as we're closing out, man, tell us where we can find you online if people are just now tuning in for some reason, and tell us, besides the show on Wednesday that you're doing for McDonald Observatory, what are you working on, man? You doing anything in astronomy?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on Instagram. It's my only social media, at Hummel_Steven. And I'm working on a lot of projects involving light pollution right now. It's most of what my job is about, including trying to create the largest dark sky reserve in the world, larger than all the other existing ones in the world combined. Be a massive area, 17,000 square miles. Wow. Of protected lands to protect the skies out here in West Texas. So that's the big project I'm working on right now. Yeah, that's. But yeah, also check me out on Wednesday. Me and my buddy Saul Rivera will be online, and he's never actually been on camera before, so I'm excited and to have him join me. And you can find that on the McDonald Observatory YouTube channel. Someone asked for a link. There is no link. It doesn't exist yet, but there will be probably tomorrow. But yeah, thank you, Will, for putting this together. Thank you, Bram. Thank you, Joe, for your lovely commentary and company. Always like having you guys.
Thank you,
around.
Stephen. Yeah, enjoyed it, certainly.
Yeah, Stephen asked for you guys in particular because he knows y'all are funny and also slightly weird, just like all of us. Yeah. So it works out great. But the way y'all can follow Stephen, obviously follow him on Instagram, but go to the McDonald Observatory YouTube channel, which you can find easily. Just go to YouTube, type in McDonald Observatory, and subscribe, and then hit the bell. Because as soon as you do both of those things, every time Stephen goes live with the McDonald Observatory, you're going to get a notification. You're not even going to be able to miss it. as long as you have your notifications on. So do that. Follow the McDonald Observatory for those live streams. They're always awesome, and they're great. And Mr. Bram Wiseman, where can we find you these days? What are you working on?
Well, you can find me on Instagram, and I finally fixed my thing there. Is Instagram case sensitive, by the way?
I don't think so.
I don't believe it is.
So I fixed the thing in my name there at immaturastronomer.com on Instagram. And I'm going to have to get some more astronomy content on there. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, though, since I'm not much into astrophotography. Any ideas?
It's amazing what you can do with an iPhone.
Yeah. You could just do TikTok style dances and
that's
rack
true.
up the views there, or cat videos.
That's true.
Maybe in a green screen with cats and stars behind them.
Catstronomer. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Find a way to blend my new cat exercise wheel into the astronomy.
He's creating a gravity environment for the cats by spinning. So it's creating centrifugal force. But but Bram is always out with us. He's always at the star parties and stuff like Texas Star Party and his first year at El Dorado this last year and Okie Tex. So y'all always see Bram. He's always hanging around here. And but go follow him on Instagram. Let's get him up to 100 followers, just like Joe and stuff. But Bram, thank you for being here with us, man.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man, it's good to have you. And Mr. Joe Califf, what are you doing? What are you up to?
I am trying to get our programs ready for the Houston Astronomical Society this week. So we've got our, so after you're done watching Stephen's presentation and the Sky Tour on Wednesday, on Thursday, join us at the Houston Astronomical Society. You can go to astronomyhouston.org. You can find links to register for our novice meeting on Thursday, where one of our members, Craig Lamison, is actually going to talk us through, how he progressed as an amateur astronomer, right? And so, just learning tips and tricks to help you grow as an amateur. And then the following day on Friday, we have our December meeting. So normally in a post-COVID world or, pre-COVID, we would have our annual potluck. We'd get together, meal, things like that, and have, pretty good presentation. We actually have 6 different astrophotographers who are joining us for our presentation on Friday to give us some tips and tricks. So if you're thinking about jumping into the whole astrophotography game, we have some folks who are wonderful astrophotographers that are going to share some of their secrets and teach us a thing or two about how to capture those awesome photos.
Awesome. That sounds awesome, man. I can't wait for that. Yeah. And so how they can follow the Facebook page for, I know y'all have a page and a group. The group is for Houston Astronomical members.
Yes.
The page is for anyone and everyone,
anybody. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. Anybody who wants to join. We try to live stream all of our presentations. So if you don't register for the Zoom link, the Zoom meeting, I should say, that's present on our website, you can always catch us on Facebook, and if Facebook is cooperating, we'll be able to live stream our presentation. So you can either join us through the Zoom or join us through Facebook, one or the other.
Yeah, and that's awesome, man. I'm a member of the Houston Astronomical Society. I've only ever been to one in-person meeting, or maybe 2, but having them online makes it so much better for me because I don't have to drive all the way over there and get a hotel.
Yeah, and we've been doing the same thing with asset meetings, right? Joining asset meetings online and whatnot. And I was going to join asset a couple months ago, and Eddie said, no, just wait till the beginning of the year. We're almost there. So I'll be an asset member come January.
Awesome. The awesome cross-pollination.
Absolutely.
All over the place, which is great.
Yeah.
As we're closing out here, I'll get to some of these comments. Matt says, we are Stardust. No better way to put it, right? You guys are golden, fun stuff. Well, thank you, Matt. You're the man. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate all y'all watching and sharing the feed. Y'all are amazing. Spencer says, cats and cucumbers. That's the way to go viral right there. So apparently, if your cat doesn't know, my cat totally did not do this. But if you put a cucumber behind a cat, they'll turn around and freak out. Because I guess maybe they think it's a snake or something instinctually. I don't know. But my cat, like, we put a cucumber behind her. We got the phone out. We gave her a treat, put it behind there. And then she turned around and looked at it, looked up at us, and walked off. Like, why? What's with the cucumber? So it only works on some cats. But Bram, go get some cucumbers and shoot me some videos tomorrow if you would.
I'll try it.
Bob said cat dancing videos, unfollow. So there you go. Brand's back down to 99 followers. Just started following all you guys on Instagram. Galleria says, thank you very much for this great live. We thank you for hanging out with us, of course, as always. Again, y'all can follow us on all these different platforms, and randomly on my channel every once in a while, we all pop together and do some imaging with Stephen out there on the mountain in West Texas. And as we're closing it out, man, Stephen, thank you again, man. And we're in natural light this time. Look at this. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. I have the dome closed, so
you can actually turn it.
that.
You're not going to bother anybody. Yeah. If you turn on the white light in there, you'll have angry astronomers running down from the 107, probably trying to beat your head in. But yeah, and Spencer says, I see a cat tree. Yeah, it might or might not be a cat tree back there. That's actually Graham's sofa. It's just really small.
That's the little cat tree. I have a 6-footer on the other side of the room.
Yeah, and a cat wheel. So Bram has a cat problem apparently, but no, I love cats. Cats are my favorite. But again, thank all y'all for coming and hanging out with us. Follow us on all the places. We'll be back eventually with another live stream. I know we got the thing on Wednesday with Hummel here. We got the thing coming up with Houston Astronomical Society, and you can find all those streams on their Facebook page. Go follow the Facebook page, and you'll know where they're going to be and when they're going to be. And you can follow that. And if you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on Deep Sky Dude on all the platforms. I'm out there. Y'all can find me. Most of y'all may be following me on the page, so y'all know where to find me. New music coming out soon. That's all I got to say. That's the only thing I'm doing is just I'm in here playing music all day long because 2020. So there it is. And then Steve Uckerman says, ding, ding. And that's the way we close it. We're turning the telescope to the park position. We're ding dinging on our way on out of here. Guys, again, thank y'all all for hanging out on the panel with me again. It's always a pleasure. Stephen, you the man. It's good to have y'all. We're out, guys. We'll see y'all on the flip side. Wash your hands. Wear your masks.